What is going on, everybody? It's your boys at the Locker Room Rant. I'm Tony. To my left is John. Down below, we got Nick wearing the only jersey he's ever bought in his entire life, Deshaun Watson. And I got news for everybody. Tonight, it's not just the three of us. No. We have a fourth with us. And it's by far the coolest, by far the most subscribed person we have ever, or probably will ever have on the show. We got a guy, Garrett Bush, goes by G Bush, big time content provider. We're going to bring him in. Let's go.
Take it to the house. M-I-A, take it to the house. This the way we take it to the house. Take it to the house. Take it to the house. 305, take it to the house. We got that power. Take it to the house. Slip and slide. Take it to the house. Take it to the house.
By the way, G Bush, I'm not sure if we mentioned this. We do a lot of copyright infringements on the show.
It's the only way to do it. Like, it's always better. It's always better to ask for forgiveness than permission. You know what I'm saying? You messing your views up. I'm like, listen, little old me, I don't got no money. You can sue me all you want, right? What's half of zero? Zero. My ex-wife found out that the hard way.
G Bush, tell everyone where they can find you, buddy.
Oh, man, you can find me, man. It's a lot of different plays, man. I'm always trying to hustle out here. So you can find me on the Barbershop, 8 to 12 every single Saturday. During football season, you can find me on the Browns pregame tailgate show in Cleveland on 92.3 The Fan. That's from 9 to 1. Monday through Friday, you can find me on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on YouTube. And that consists of me, Adam the Bull, Jay Crawford, and a lot of other different guests that we have on there. So that's on every single day from 11 to 1 on YouTube. You find that on the WKYC Plus app within the Roku app. And you can check me out on Locked On Browns podcast every single day with Jeff Lloyd. You can find us on there every single day. You can download that wherever you get your podcast at. And in the old regular way, I think you guys reached out to me this way was hit me up on Twitter at GBush91. I'll be actually answering too. So
yeah, I was shocked. So I watch the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show all the time. So that's where I discovered you, and me and you agree a ton on a lot of things.
That's either scary or good. Like, you know,
it's scary. It's scary for everyone. It's scary for everyone that listens to our channel. That's for sure.
So obviously, I'm wearing the jersey, so we agree on that. But yeah, so I remember I was watching and you guys were talking about like where you guys started and how you guys were like had to go in small towns and like work for basically nothing and kind of work your way up. And you were like, if I can help somebody not have to go through that, I'm gonna try. So I was like, you know what? I'll shoot him a message on Twitter.
Right. You called his bluff. You tried to call his bluff, and he wasn't bluffing.
I couldn't believe you got back to me.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, all right. What time will you want to do it? People be free. They'd be like, come on, hey, is this really you though? Like, you ain't got nobody that's like gatekeeper. That's just really.
I was like, get the fuck out of here. Are you serious?
Man, shout out to I always tell shout out to my wife. She's a really cool person. Like sometimes she let me be doing all kind of extracurricular during football season. I'm like, now listen. She's for the Philippines. I'm like, you're not going to see me very much. You will, but I'm going to be doing all kind of other stuff. Is you okay with that before you marry me? Because that could be a thing. She's like, okay. I was like, oh, this is great, man. As
long as you're bringing home that bacon.
Yeah. She's like, all right, cool. Now, if I didn't have no job, oh, Lord. Oh, she don't play that. I'll be doing chores all day. So, yeah.
When Nick told me, are you a barber by trade?
Nah, I ain't. I don't know how to cut hair. I know how to line myself up, but I am not a barber. But I do. My uncles are barbers. Like, so I grew up and born and raised in Canton, Ohio. So my uncles used to. They built like this basement from the ground, or the barbershop from the ground up, and it was weird. Like, you know, growing up, everybody in the city used to get their haircut. It was so bad that I remember we used to get free haircuts, but I was just salty that I had to get up at like 4 a.m. to be there on a Saturday. You know what I'm saying? And because that's how many people would be in line. Like it was crazy. It was like, it was the first place that I understood the Chick-fil-A line. You'd be like, is this that good? Is that these little chicken fingers that good? All y'all people want these chicken fingers. And then you eat them and be like, yeah, I need that too. I'll be staying in line as long as it takes. But yeah, they had a barbershop, and when they asked me what when I started first doing my little original shows, I kind of understood that, like, you got to have a little gimmick. You got to have a little something besides. You can't just be like, I'm filling Joe. I'm filling in, and this is called the weekend show. Nah, I was like, man, if I'm going to get opportunity, I'm going to make the best of it. So I just nicknamed it the Barbershop. Now, in the beginning, it was a little cliche-ish because, and believe it or not, like, I've been doing this show since before LeBron had a show called The Shop. So, and you know, barbershop, you're a black dude and you name your show The Barbershop. They're like, come on. Come on. We knew you were coming with that. You know, I said, it is kind of stereotypical. I get that. It is. But, you know, but it turned out that, you know, even my white brothers loved it. They was like, oh no, they swear by The Barbershop. Love it. So, you know, and that's how we came with it.
Nice.
I know one thing for sure. When Nick told me you were coming on, I was like, is this some type of Make-A-Wish Foundation type thing that he's this seems like some type of Make-A-Wish Foundation. Does he think Nick's slow? Because he is. Nick is slow now. So,
mess around.
So
like,
I just want
to GoFundMe. It's like, does that GoFundMe out there? Or like, you got something rare? I will say this, man. I do believe in this though. Like, I think what y'all doing right now is, and I've always said it, it's the new wave. I realized when I first started doing it that YouTube was a great opportunity to create your own brand. And to me, I always looked at it like I was a artist. You know, I was like a guy who was like a recording artist. Like, there's a lot of different people who wait on deals, right? Mm-hmm. And if you wait on a deal in media, or you wait on a deal in music, yeah, you could get a deal, but it's going to limit you on what you can do. Like, you got to take a 360 deal. They want part of your touring. They want your publishing. And they give you this little advance. And then you just stuck here doing this regular stuff. But I started to see it and be like, wow, this is like, people are actually unplugging from like the big box stuff, the ESPNs and all this other stuff. And on the internet, people is going right to the source, right? You know, there's certain things that you guys on this platform and all platforms can do that a lot of other different radio stations, whether it's radio, television, any of those platforms can't really do, because you're mobile, you're flexible, you don't have to wait on anybody. If something happened and it's breaking news, you can hit a live button today, right now, and go live and talk about it. But a radio station, they got midnight programming. A radio station has to wait till, you know, basically Monday at 6 o'clock for their morning show to talk about all the stuff. And I found that the weekends is the best place anyway. I said, you mean to tell me I get to preview the show on Friday. I get to then come back, and if it happens on Saturday, I can talk about it all day on Saturday. Then on Sunday, the NFL games is happening, so got a pregame. And then after it's done, if I do a post-game show, I already done got to everything you wanted to hear by the time King Carmen can even touch it at 6 o'clock on Monday. You late, dog. G. Bush already been tap danced on that.
So I was watching one of your shows, and you were talking about hanging out with like the old time Browns from like the 90s. Bernie Kosar, I think you said Leroy Horde, Eric Metcalf. How cool is it to hang out with those dudes? I'm sure they have stories. How cool is it to hang out with those guys? Isn't it like a surreal feeling to hang out with them?
Yeah, you know, it's so cool. It's kind of like that same feeling y'all said y'all had with me. It was like I was over there, had the same feeling the other day. I'm over there, I'm looking at Bernie Kosar breaking down, you know what I'm saying, how he got let go by Bill Belichick. He telling me stories how him and Bill Belichick went back and forth. I'm hearing, you know what I'm saying, I'm talking to Leroy Horde, and he telling me about being in Minnesota with Robert Smith, and he's telling me about Randy Moss and Jake Reed and Chris Carter, Warren Moon, some of these dudes, like we see, they telling me these stories, and I'm just over here I just like, dang, I had to, pinch myself, like, dang, I'm over here at the table, like, talk, like chilling with some of the dudes that I grew up watching. And not only them, it's like my dad. Like, I've been places with my dad, and he's met some of these people. My dad is like, he's looking around like he's a huge sports fan. And so me and him is always listening to sports talk. He'll call me after every single game. He done heard me at the pros game, the pregame, the post game after that, and he'll still call me and be like, "Yeah, man, what you think about these Browns, man?" I'm like, "You did see me, Dad. You were just watching, right? I don't care nothing about that. He just wanted. I got the VIP. You know what we talking about?
Oh yeah.
So for me, it's super dope, man. And the cool thing about it is, and that's why I say this wave is the newest wave, is because you'll be surprised how much those individuals will give you or respect you because you came from the bottom. Like, you didn't go to journalism school, or you weren't, a guy that's, getting to ask all the questions at the Browns, the Browns training camp or facility or whatever. And they understand you're a real person. So, if you could always come up in this industry, because now I think when you look back in the next 20 years, you'll start to see, the shift a little bit where they're looking for non-traditional outlets. I'll give you an example. One of my good guys, Quincy Carrier, he was a guy who he's a Browns blogger or whatever. And in the beginning, people used to try to pit us against each other. Like, oh, yeah, your takes are trash. And Quincy's better than you. And I was like, well, I mean sometimes my takes, right? Huh?
You and Quincy are boys, right?
Oh, we tight as hell now. I said, oh, y'all think y'all gonna do that? So we ain't gonna do that. Here's what we gonna do. I reached out to Quincy, was like, hey, come on my radio show. You know what I'm saying? Hey, come on, come on my radio show. Come on, come on my podcast and get a report going. And if you help each other do that, it'll kind of end some of that extra stuff. That's why I'm a big fan of collaboration, man.
I like Quincy. I actually reached out to him. He wasn't as kind in getting back to me as you were, but I'm sure he's a busy man. But I don't necessarily agree with him as much as I agree with you.
I know we don't agree. We don't agree, Nick, either.
Are you trying to go against him? Are you trying to start some shit again, Nick?
No.
So.
Second way to start is start a beef. Beef works. Now I'm playing.
G. Bush, I sad somehow, some way. Me and Nick actually know what you're talking about. How that's surreal. I can't go into how it happened. All I could tell you is that it did happen over the summer. I had a big guys' day, golf in the morning. UFC fights at night, and a lot of cigars and bourbon in the middle. Great food. I had it at my house, and somehow, some way, we had the Austin Carr show up at my house to hang out. He's a friend of a friend that's dating a mother-in-law. Nonetheless, he came over and he sat with us, smoked cigars, drank some bourbon, ate some food, and the stories he was sharing with us, like John Havlicek and Pistol Pete. Anytime Pistol Pete would get the one spot on the floor, he couldn't miss. So I had to D him up to make sure and I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on right now? We have Austin Carr at my house talking about how he defended Pistol Pete. What is going on?
Man, it's crazy. And you get to a point, there was people I didn't even know was there. Like, come to find out, Jason Duffner was sitting there, and he's telling me, I'm sitting there asking him questions, a little oblivious guy like me. I'm like, hey, how'd you know he was going to be a pro golfer? At the time, I didn't even know he was a pro golfer. All Leroy told me was, hey, are you available? I said, man, what you mean am I available? Heck yeah, I'm available. If you put the bat signal out there, yeah. So, he said we're going to have a golfer. We got some people come through. And I told Jay Crawford. Jay was like, yeah, he got you. See, Leroy don't never roll. He don't never roll solo. I said, man, he brought Jason Duffner in, and I was asking him crazy questions, and he was telling me about, how good. I asked him how good Tiger was. He was like, look, to put it in perspective, Tiger is, think about the best player you've ever seen in any sport, and then like translate that to how good he was above everybody else. I was like, so like Michael Jordan, like, in the 90s, he's like he might be a little better comparatively about Michael Jordan. Like, he just did everything. He hits the ball farther than you, longer than you. He hits all the greens, all the fairways. His club game is ridiculous. I'm like, dang. So I'm listening to all these great stories, and I'm just over here soaking them up, like, giving that game, bro. So it's been a surreal situation, bro.
That's like our dream right there.
I hear people. I see people in the chat saying, "Who is Austin Carr?" Do me a favor, Google Austin Carr. Okay. Not only was he a number one pick for the Cleveland Cavaliers, whatever. That's a whole other thing. Take a look at his collegiate career at Notre Dame. Number one in points scored in an NCAA basketball tournament game. I think he had like 60 points. He told us, when he was here, he was talking about it. He was like, well, if there was a 3-point line at the time, it would have been 72 points. And it was just, let's move on. Voice of the Cavs, just awesome guy. We do have to get to some G. Bush takes, because Nick agrees with everything that G. Bush says.
We agree with a lot. I don't know if everything, but we agree with a lot. We agree a lot on stuff.
Let's just talk about this previous week's game against the Buccaneers. Super entertaining game. It seemed like you were just, first of all, let's say John's obviously a 49ers fan. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. I got gear for every team. I'm well-rounded. So I'm watching this game, and you're just waiting. As a non-Browns fan, you're just waiting for the collapse to happen. Mm-hmm. And that as the game's winding down, Amari Cooper drops a wide open pass that would have given them a first down. And you're like, there it is. There it is. That's what we were waiting for. Tom gets the ball back. Game's going to be over. Au contraire, not these Browns, not this week. They were able to get the ball back and stop Tom Brady. Which those defensive sequences were unbelievable at the end of the game. They did a great job stopping Tom, got the ball back, and you're like, okay, where's it going to come from this time? They're going to fuck something up, and drove down the field. Amari Cooper redeemed himself on that drive in overtime, right? Yes, and they were able to pound it into the end zone with Chubb and take home the victory. What'd you see in this game, Nick, John, whoever? We'll start with you, G. Bush. What'd you see in this game from your Brownies? Would you not like?
Well, this season been brutal for the Browns. Like because if you look at what the Browns have done, everyone thought Jacoby Brissett would be the downfall of the team, right? But when you look at it, Jacoby Brissett was actually better than a lot of people gave him credit for, even imagine. I mean, you look at him for most statistics or even in advanced statistics, you take a look at what he's done, and he's, a top 10, top 15 quarterback. And for that to happen has been kind of, alarming. So you're like, well, in that case, we're supposed to be good then. Top 5, we think you're going to have a top 5 defense coming into the season. I've never really been a fan of Joe Woods. I just don't think, I don't think he puts enough pressure on people. I think sometimes he's content with rushing forward and kind of letting the team matriculate his way up the field. I mean, hey, he was in San Francisco for a while, and I could get while he has that theory. I mean, he has he has Nick Bosa. He has some of those guys, the front four, with the 49ers to kind of do those things. I think that he leans on his pass rushers too much to get home by himself. That's a philosophy thing for me. I would be a more aggressive coordinator. Now the defense has been terrible. I mean, everybody and their mom has been able to run for career days. I mean, guys who don't even run the ball, Austin Eckler. Heck, you take a look at what the Atlanta Falcons did. They ran the ball 12 straight times on us, all the way up the field with backup guys. Cordell Patterson was not even playing. And there was just guys on the practice squad that we just got up to standard and speed like a couple days prior. So for me, when you're playing in that game, you're automatically thinking that, here comes the Cinderella shoe drop. You're going to turn back into that pumpkin coach. You're going to figure out that you ain't got no nice little dress at the prom, and you'll turn back into the Cleveland Browns. To their credit, they didn't do that. Amari Cooper, I thought that was the start of it, dropped the football, but he then came back on the next series. I think he caught another third down or fourth down catch, and then he makes the catch where he catches the ball, gives the guy a move, gets down to the 3-yard line or whatever, and then Chubb knocks it in. So for me, I thought that the Browns had a little something. And I think that little spark came from the fact that they knew they had Deshaun Watson in their back pocket. It's one of those things where if you're on a defense and you're playing, and no disrespect to Jacoby Brissett, you got to play almost perfect, right? You got to play a perfect game. You got to stay in the game long enough to run the game can still be consistent and that you can use it to keep people off balance. You got to hit all your throws you got to hit. You can't have turnovers, and your defense can't have long sustained drives where, they're giving up big points. So that's a hard way to live. That's a hard way to, to each every single week know that you got to play a certain way for you to even have a chance. Now they look at it and say, okay, well, we can leave it all on the field because we feel like next week we get a guy back that's going to change a lot of things for us. And I think they just, when anytime it's Tom Brady, you're gonna get people's best shot. And I think Tom got the Browns' best shot in terms of the coaching, the game plan on defense, and guys like Myles Garrett made plays down the stretch to kind of solidify the win. So I think they'll try to carry that momentum into this week against Houston.
All right,
Nick.
I mean, this was the first game all year that I was actually proud of the Browns. The win against Carolina, I was not proud of the Browns because they almost blew that game. They almost gave it away. Pittsburgh's not that good this year, so and they tried to give that game away a couple of times too. The win against Cincinnati, listen, we kicked the crap out of Cincinnati. We won that game from the get-go, so I wasn't necessarily super proud of them. I was happy about that win, but I was also a little cautious for the next week. This game was a game they easily could have given away. After that Amari Cooper drop and Njoku dropped the pass earlier on, those were absolute drive killers that could have it would have been totally Cleveland Browns to just say, you know what, we lost it there. But they actually fought. They came back. It was an incredible catch by Njoku, a great pass by Brissett, put them into overtime, and the defense held up in overtime, and we ended up pulling out a win. We haven't done that for a long, long time. It's usually us getting beat down and us staying down. This game, we were getting beat down, but we kept fighting. That's what I want to see from the Browns. Yeah, there's still a bunch of stuff that I don't like. I still want Joe Woods gone. I still don't like the fact that they don't get a ton of pressure on the quarterback and they rely on Clowney and Garrett to just rush the quarterback and leave the middle of the defensive line wide open because those guys just can't get it done. But they at least showed a little bit of heart, which is what I've wanted the whole season.
I'll tell you what, that catch by Njoku might have been the greatest catch by a tight end I've ever seen in my time watching football. That was an unbelievable grab at that specific time of the game. Super clutch. Anthony Schwartz's touchdown looked like he was shot out of a fucking cannon. That guy, I remember I was watching the game. I'm like, because you don't see a lot of Schwartz, especially when you're not a Browns dude and you don't know the team. You don't know the team that well. I just saw a flash, and it was this Schwartz guy, scoring the touchdown. So that speed looks unbelievable out of him. Nick, we'll give you this. We'll give you this song real quick.
Here we go again. It's the Cleveland Browns and it's 1st and 10. So get on your feet and let the games begin. Here we go again.
reminiscent of the 80s. I saw starter jackets. I saw mullets. I saw Newman gloves, and I see cake stands. That's what I see when I hear that.
Oh, Michael Stanley, he's huge around here, by the way.
Oh yeah, Michael Stanley. Yeah, he's like, man. By the way, he worked at on a rock station. Every single Saturday, every single time I was in, one of the best dudes you ever meet. He just peek his head in and into the studio. Says, "Hey man, how you doing?" I'm like, man, stop coming over here using your charm. I feel like a lady right now. I feel like I want to like walk up to you and just try to make small talk, man. He's one of the coolest dudes ever, man. That's another person I met in the game. It was just like, man, I didn't know how to act for the first 2 years.
Tony used to date a girl that in high school that her dad used to be the sound guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
For Michael Stanley Band.
Yeah, where the fuck is this going? All you're gonna do with this conversation is get me in trouble with the wife upstairs. Now who's this bitch? Who's this bitch?
Oh, I would love to meet his wife. She's doing sign language with her distance. Oh, I know what kind of person. I'm just saying, let her come over here. Oh my goodness, you'd be like, are you clapping? Are you teaching your child?
You ever hear of Warren G. Harding? All the football talent come out of Warren G. Harding.
My goodness,
that's where the wife comes from. So shout out
to Maurice Claret, man. Shout out to Warren. We used to play Warren every single year, and it was an eye-opening situation when we had to play at Warren G. Harding. I'm like, man, we're inner city school, but you guys are really inner city. You guys are really inner city.
It's a shame what's happening,
dude. The city is legitimate in the school, bro. It's entirely different.
I'm like, y'all might be sharing books over Warren G. Harding. I don't know. I feel like you get it first half, and then they flip it over and give it to your people.
All right, Nick, it's your time. We have to play this song. It just goes along with this topic, but we're gonna get on Deshaun Watson.
My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes.
All right, the day has come. The week has come.
Nothing. Y'all ain't shit.
I don't care what he did. I won't stop listening to his music.
So I don't get a take on the Buccaneers Browns. We're just gonna skip me or what?
No, you can't.
John, your take comes with Deshaun. I want you to keep the same passion that G. Bush is on here that you had with Nick. Now Nick has some backup. Your ass has all this 49ers backup every fucking week. Now Nick's got backup with G. Bush. I want you to keep the same same shit you had, the same takes about Deshaun Watson then as you do now with G. Bush on the show.
All right.
The time has come. Deshaun Watson, 700 days since he's last played his last real snap of football. And he's back this week. And what expectations, G. Bush, do you have for Mr. Deshaun coming back this week? Where are your expectations at for him? Realistic.
I they asked me the same thing on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. I was like, I just want to let you guys know that not only am I having big expectations, I'm just admittedly going to drink the Kool-Aid. I already have drank it. It is a tall glass of it. I've been offering everyone, if they want to listen, that we have Kool-Aid available for anyone who wants some. If you're thirsty, so I'm like 6-0. 6-0. Chalk it up. Give me the 6 wins. Now, look,
I like that.
Come on. But you really think realistically they're gonna get 6 wins? Here's what I'll tell you. The Browns, they do things, and they've been realistically doing things that they shouldn't have a business, like losing in ways that they lose. Do you know it was a 99.9% chance of the Cleveland Browns did not lose to the New York Jets after being up by this certain amount of points with a certain amount of time left in the game? Yeah. Do you know in the history of the game, it has never happened. And the only time it ever happened besides that time was the Cleveland Browns. So only 2 times in the history has a team been up by that many points with that much time left that they've lost. And the Cleveland Browns have now done that spanning 2 to 3 different decades. So I'm like, Well, statistics ain't on our side. So at one point, we're going to have to get the statistics. Sometimes they're going to fall your way. Now, when I look at Deshaun Watson, I mean, he's just better than everybody we've had. I mean, the Browns lose games in bunches of ways where not only they lose the games, you look at their team, you're like, but they got talent. I mean, it's not like they're the 1-31 Browns when you got some of these quarterbacks just by the way, Fish Whisperer, it's even. No, it's not even close. Sadder franchise, Browns or Raiders. No. It goes either Browns or Lions. That's it. But at least the Lions get Thanksgiving every year. They're on TV every Thanksgiving. That's their consolation prize.
The Raiders have won a Super Bowl in my lifetime.
The Raiders have been to the Super Bowl multiple times. Like, come on. The Browns ain't sniffed one. Like, they have not been there. They've lost it every way possible, shape, way, form. So when I look at Deshaun Watson coming back, Deshaun Watson is the best quarterback the Cleveland Browns have had ever. You look at the schedule, they come back and you look at it and you say, okay, well, they got the Texans, who aren't very good. They got the Bengals, who the Browns always play well against. They got the Ravens, and I don't know if people look. Lamar Jackson, he doesn't look too good. These last couple of weeks, he's not been playing well. You got the Washington Commanders, which I think will be their hardest game, playing at Washington. This Heineke guy, he got a little something to him. I don't know what it is, but he plays well. And then you got the Steelers, which the Steelers aren't very good this year. Every single game left on this schedule, the Browns have a legitimate shot to win. So my thing is, if you're paying him $230 million and he's supposed to be that, you pay 3 draft round picks for him. I don't care what you're talking about. You might want to figure it out, Deshaun. We need you hitting this track running 6-0, and that's what we're talking about.
I want you to think about it this way. As bad as now, I think Brissett played admirably in his relief of Deshaun Watson. But if they had Deshaun Watson, our record isn't what it is. Even as bad as the defense has been playing, and even as bad as some of the play calls have been, Deshaun Watson, we don't lose that game against the Jets. We don't lose that game against the Chargers.
I like our chances. I like our chances. Some people say, hey, look, Deshaun Watson don't play no defense. He throws the ball. He's the offensive player. Your defense have been a problem. Here's a small rebuttal to that. There are times when you would play a game plan a certain way based on complementary football. And sometimes if you're looking at it, in the first part of the year, the Browns took a lot of chances, right? And those chances took out – people will get wide open. 50-yard touchdowns, wide open against Panthers. Guys walking down the street, like just wide open. And they couldn't play complex defenses because they were letting people get behind them. If you have a starting quarterback, if you have a quarterback who you think is a franchise quarterback, one thing that you can do is you can play a different style of game plan. You can go after people and not be afraid that if we do give up some points here, we can't get them back. When you got to play perfect, that's a different thought process. Also, Deshaun Watson gives you an opportunity to get in better positions on the field in terms of different field position game plans, right? You can do a couple little things that may not put your defense in a position. There's times right before the half, you talk about 3 and outs, right? You may want to be aggressive going for, especially if you get the ball at the beginning of the second half. You may want to be an aggressive play caller and go down the field and score. There's been times Jacoby Brissett is just going 3 and out, and then now all of a sudden the other team gets the ball, they score there, and then come back after halftime, score again. Essentially, this game's over, especially with this team. It's happened in Miami. It happened earlier in the season as well with Atlanta. So he can't play defense, but he should help them a little bit. And they haven't been really getting blown out. It's just play here, play there. That's the NFL. Hopefully he can give you a play here, play there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I believe he will give us a play here, play there, and that will make the difference. And I think if he was playing early, if he was playing from the get-go, it probably would have made the difference. We'd probably, instead of being 4-7, we'd be 5-6, or we'd be 6-5.
The reality of it is you got to get to it. See, the reality of it is you got to. I always tell them, just rip the Band-Aid off. See, there's a lot of group of people that's listening. They do not believe Deshaun Watson should be playing this year.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people that do not believe he should have got $230 million. There's a lot of people that are never, ever going to like Deshaun Watson ever. So, like, that's the crux of it, right? So at least the people who say it, I can respect it because, you know, we had the same thing in our fan base. It's split. You think he's going to get booed just on the road? Oh, now they got picket fences up and guys just protested everywhere. Like, it's not about the talent level. It's about, all right, are you willing to stomach what comes along with Deshaun Watson? And that is the ultimate question fans across the country deal with. Not whether or not he throw the deep ball or extend plays or do RPOs. It's like, okay, I'm cool with this. That's where it comes down to.
John, are you cool with it?
All right. I'm not cool with the money. I'm not going to get into the nuts and bolts and the meat and potatoes of the court cases. I don't want to discuss that. The money I don't like. I think it's going to handicap the Browns moving forward. Nick disagrees, but I expect that out of him. He doesn't know his ass from his elbow. But the $230 million, it cripples 31 other organizations when we go back to when we sit down at the table, and we want to discuss contract negotiations. The league as a whole is not good with this move, but that's not even what bothers me the most. What bothers me the most about Nick and some Browns fans is that, like, they've got these false expectations that Deshaun Watson's going to come in. Now, the only good thing about Deshaun coming in when he's coming in is that the season is already shot, right? Lost 7 games. You lost 7 games. I'm going somewhere with this. You lost 7 games, right? And the season's not on the line for a guy that hasn't played football in 700 days, right? You know, Deshaun Watson, regardless of how good he was, he has a great deal of catching up to game speed. He just does, right? Let's not act like he's just going to step onto the field and everything's just going to mesh. There's a lot of work. There's going to be some mistakes. There's going to be some. They need that they got to get that cohesiveness. They need to get that chemistry, and they need to get it quick, because if they do have an opportunity to make a run as a wild card team, then it needs to happen quickly. But my thing is not the secondary. It's your coaching. I dislike Stefanski. I mean, immensely. Not the character. I just think that he's just a Charmin soft coach. I don't think that he has the nerve to coach in the AFC. I don't think that he makes a good head coach anywhere in football. And that's no disrespect to Stefanski. It's just, I don't think he's that guy. Joe Woods, former DB coach in San Francisco, he wasn't ready to be a defensive coordinator. He does not have what it takes yet. It's altogether so bad, G. Bush. Like, it bothers me so much because, like, Jacoby Brissett should not be throwing the ball 37 times. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. This is this is a handcuff running back tandem. The best the game has, top 2 running game in the league right now. I just, maybe the number 1 running game tandem in football right now. Jacoby Brissett to throw the football 37 times is probably 15 times out of your scripted plays. And that just makes it just a pitch and catch at this point. A lot of just prayers. I'm sorry, but, like, Jacoby Brissett was never intended to play 12 weeks of football. It just wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, he's a backup. He's not a starter. He doesn't have everything in the toolbox that it takes. It's very limited in some of his throws. He can throw the deep ball, but he lacks some of the underneath. Just in just coaching as a whole. Who's the offensive coordinator?
Van Pelt.
Van Pelt.
Okay. My problem is there's no creativity in the Browns offense. None. There's no creativity. And I feel like that's probably where the style of offense that the Browns are playing is just 5 years old, 7 years old. Like the league right now is RPOs, trick plays. Where is this? It's the most stagnant offense in your division.
I think
it's no disrespect to the fans of Cleveland or to the players, because I share a very sincere concern with Myles Garrett. And it's in an article that I read that he and I both agree that there's a great deal of prime being wasted right now. A lot of guys. This window. Do you know that? Of course you know this. Last year, before the season started, the Browns on paper were a Super Bowl contender with the players, with the roster, right?
Yep.
Now that was before we knew how this was going to unfold, right? I knew that Baker Mayfield was never that guy. I knew it for many reasons. But right now, this season, Jacoby Brissett needed to be a game manager. Probably should have been asked to throw the ball no more than 23, 24 times. Okay? And there needed to be some kind of RPO, but Brissett's not fast. There were no jet sweeps. There's no end arounds. It's very bland. Very, very bland. Right?
Very high school. It is. If you look at it, it's like you're running bootlegs. It's
just not. It's to be competitive in the AFC this season. Deshaun Watson has to come out with everything we mentioned above, and then some. But I still fear that coaching is going to be the problem. I still feel that the Browns coaching as a whole is just not going to get this done. And I fear that the Browns, the players, are now playing for themselves more than they're playing for Stefanski. I don't even know that they even want to play for Stefanski.
Yeah, they didn't play like that last week, though.
I'll tell you what, you bring a guy like Deshaun Watson. You bring in a guy like Deshaun Watson, and that is a presence, fellas. That is a presence that he brings. Fuck his arm strength, speed, all that. He's bringing that LeBron James type presence to the locker room. I got news for you. When the Cavs win the fucking titles and they're going against to the championships against Golden State all those years, they weren't playing for Ty Lue, fellas. They weren't playing for that coach from overseas, whatever the hell his name was. They were playing for LeBron James, the presence of LeBron James. That's what Cleveland's going to rally. That's what the Browns are going to do. They're going to rally around Deshaun Watson, and he's going to light a fire under their asses, and he's going to lead that team. I mean, Stefanski's just going to go ahead.
There are a lot of his concerns that you said, man, you hear me, you agree a lot. A lot of your concerns, I've been saying for 2 years. I agree wholeheartedly on a lot of what you just said. To me, I was pounding the concrete, and I said, why is Nick Chubb not getting over 20 carries? I'm confused. Why is he getting 13, 14? And people will say, well, G. Bush, the analytics tell us that, I talked to the play-by-play guy. He was on my radio station program. And I asked him, I said, listen, I got a conspiracy theory. Why is it that I believe that Nick Chubb is on a pitch count? He says, well, I wouldn't say so much pitch count. It's more the fact that the Cleveland Browns want to keep their running backs fresh. And I'm like, well, why would you keep Kareem Hunt fresh? You don't even use him. What are you talking about? Keep him fresh for?
5 carries.
Five carries. What are you talking about?
Garbage.
How Kareem Hunt's been used this year is absolutely criminal.
It's coaching. I'm telling you, it's poor coaching. It's just poor coaching.
And then you have to also think about it like this. Sometimes in life, and people say, well, G. Bush, if it's coaching, why would he purposely not use the players that are going to get him to a place that's going to ultimately help the team? I said, okay, I'll give you an example. In life, you have one or two ways you can look at it yourself. You can look at it in the mirror and say, I understand who I am. I understand my shortcomings. I understand that I'm not good in this, and this. But my strengths are this, and this. And it takes real maturity to understand what your real strengths are compared to what you perceive your strengths are.
Mhm.
Your perception, your idealistic you is the one you're projecting that you want people to say. Everybody wants to say, if you start a business, everybody wants other people to think he's a shrewd businessman. He's great at business. But then if you look around and you go around and actually ask people, their peers, their coworkers, the people they mess with on a daily basis, they'll say, oh man, he flip-flops on contracts. He's late to everything. He really doesn't do his homework on a lot of different things. And I don't think he's financially solvent enough, and he doesn't put the right people in places. You think you're a great businessman because you're in an echo chamber and you got people around you who tell you that. But the real people, the real movers and shakers, the industry peoples in business, they could tell you, but you don't ask. Kevin Stefanski feels like he's an offensive guru genius. He feels, if you say that, he feels he up there with Andy Reid. He feels he's up with McVay. If you take a look at all of these young coaches, right? All of the young coaches come out throwing the football, doing their thing. And Kevin Stefanski is like, you know what? I want to show people I can do that too. So what happens? He knows he got one of the better offensive lines in the league, two stalwart backs. But guess what he does? He finds himself every single week in the same predicament, which is dropping back with a backup quarterback, throwing the ball more times than giving it to one of the best backs in the league. And yet he tells you, I'm smarter than you because we still giving him the ball. He's still top 3 in rushing yards and per carry. But I always say, go back and look at the other teams. Derrick Henry, they run into the wheels fall off. You know Derrick Henry going to get the ball. You ain't never seen Ryan Tannehill drop back and throw it 45 times because Mike Vrabel knows who they are. Kevin Stefanski doesn't naturally know that. They
should run the ball 35 times.
Perfectly said.
Between Hunt and Chubb.
It's more than that, Nick. We discussed this, Nick and I.
But here's the thing. They need to have Chubb and Hunt on the field at the same time. I keep pounding this. I keep saying this, and I don't hear anyone else say it. Whenever they do that, it works. But it's like they don't learn from their successes.
well, here's the thing. Like, it goes back to that thing. If we were all rich, right? We know a bunch of rich people. Most rich people are nondescript. If you're a rich person, but yet and still you can't show that you have wealth, some people will say, what good is it being rich then? I want you to know that I'm rich, right? What good is it if Kevin Stefanski turns around and gives the ball to Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb? If the Browns win, you know what they'll say? It's because you got Nick Chubb. If the Browns, if you win with Jacoby Brissett, or if you win with Baker Mayfield, or if you win with quarterbacks that are not that good, guess who gets the credit? People will say, well, Kevin Stefanski, what he's done with Baker Mayfield, look what he did with Jacoby Brissett. Now, all of a sudden, you're the focal point of it, right? But if you turn the ball and hand the ball off to Nick Chubb, no offensive coordinator has been ever given credit for what a great running back does. That is half of the reason running backs they keep their value lower, because they don't value those type of players. It's a reason for that, because running backs are known as guys that come in, they don't need too much work. As long as they're younger, they'll find the hole, they'll do what they need to do. But if you get a quarterback and he's throwing for that many yards, the coach is going to be up for coach of the year. The quarterback is going to be up for MVP, and that's how you keep your security as a job.
And Chubb should be a 2,000-yard back. I mean, that's it. But the problem is, Nick says they don't learn from their success because their success was an anomaly. It's not planned success. Their wins come because of like relevant plays that were just like the Njoku catch.
Right.
You
one-off.
You didn't scheme this up.
Like, it was one-off. It was a one-off.
One-off. All right, that's it. Like, and you got one of the most stout offensive lines in football. Being a San Francisco fan and having Shanahan scheme some of the best run game in all of football, I would be drooling for a Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb tandem in San Francisco.
That'd be cheap.
With your line, unbelievable. There's no reason that you can't get 5 yards a carry with Nick Chubb. He should be rushing for 175 yards a game, 200 yards a game. The problem is that Stefanski is coming from the NFC, but he's implementing what we say, this very basic pass offense. It's just, it has nothing to it. There's no creativity.
Well, let me ask you this question. What do you think it looks like now? Because we talk about it all the time here. What's the difference going to be between what the Browns used to run compared to what you think they'll run with Deshaun Watson?
I don't know.
I think they're going to try to run. I think they're going to try to run a West Coast offense. I think Stefanski's going to try to implement something with RPOs, right? Mm-hmm. I think that they're going to run Deshaun between the tackles, which they probably should. I think they're basically going to just try to implement a very Jalen Hurts style offense. You know what Mariani's doing, what Nick believes is very plain and basic. And I've been fighting with Nick this entire season. It was
last year.
What Mariani's doing is
Sirianni's improved.
Sirianni doesn't have to do anything other than let Jalen cook. Like, that's it. You understand? Like, he's rolling out. This is what he's doing. He's rolling out. He's taking advantage of a phenomenal offensive line. Stefanski has a phenomenal offensive line, but he has a very limited quarterback with multiple deficiencies. So,
if Kyle,
I think that Jacoby Brissett discovered the deep ball versus Cincinnati, because ever since the Cincinnati game, they've tried to go over the top. I'm not wrong. I watched this. Where was this arm? Where was this deep ball in the first 10 weeks or first 8 weeks? I mean, I don't understand. Like, I think that when you get Deshaun back, G. Bush, I think that they're going to try to roll Deshaun out as much as possible. And I think they're going to try to implement, I think they're going to use Njoku very similar to how San Francisco's using McCaffrey. I think we're going to just have him as a security valve. We're going to roll him out into the flat there. I would imagine you see maybe Amari Cooper running some sweeps similar to how we use Debo. You know, Peoples-Jones. For God's sake, get Peoples-Jones involved in this offense. Target him more than twice a game. You know, like, just we got to spread the ball around in Cleveland. You got to spread the ball around. And I hope that this is what they do. I hope you see more play action. I hope you see. I think with a mobile quarterback, you're going to see Nick Chubb used a little bit more, or at least I hope so. You know, let the run open up the pass.
I think everything. Now we'll see, and I think one of the things is now you'll get an evaluation period. Everybody, like, whatever you saw prior to this. Now it's like, okay, now it's class time. Now we get to evaluate what Stefanski is, what the receivers are, how to go about using them, and everybody on the clock. Everybody's on the clock. So these 6 games count.
So I think Michael Jordan is the greatest to ever do anything. I think Michael Jordan is the greatest to ever do whatever someone's craft is. He's the greatest to ever do it, is my opinion on Michael Jordan. When he had those 2 years off and went and played baseball, he came back and he wasn't scoring. He wasn't up to 35 points a game like he was before he left. Came back and he was down on that 1 year. He came back. Remember, it was like the 95 season, and he came back for 17 games. And it's kind of comparable when you think about it. He came back for those last 17 games, and in those 17 games, averaged about 25 points. 25 points is amazing in the NBA to average, but it wasn't amazing for Michael Jordan. And he was the greatest to ever do his craft. So when this guy comes back, he's gonna have some rust, fellas. he's gonna have some rust. He hasn't
You got to
played.
kick that off in Houston though, because you need to win.
Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But what are they? What's the other option? What's the other option? They're gonna bench his ass?
Run that.
You ain't gonna
Run
bench
the damn ball. Run the damn ball. I mean, just run the damn ball. You should be running the ball down every opponent's throats. You should be running. I'm so tired of watching them run Chubb on these outside zone runs. Chubb needs to be ran between the tackles. Just out of shotgun. North, bro. You know what I'm saying? These guys should be just get him in the backfield.
I will say this: the Browns are a little banged up front. They're on their fourth center. And I would never thought Ethan Poaches was going to be a dude that, like, you got Nick Harris that went down for the season. Poaches came in and was playing at a very respectable level.
Yep.
He goes down. It looks like he's done for the year. You got Ethan not Ethan Fro, but
we call him Frodo Baggins.
I call him Haagen-Dazs. I don't know why Haagen-Dazs is in there taking snaps. So I think, and here's what I will say about this, and this is the thing people don't bring up a lot. You got Teller, who has this calf injury, which is ongoing, right? You got Batonio, who's been solid. Conklin has a foot injury. Jedrick Wills has this ankle, but we can argue about whether Jedrick Wills is actually that good either. Anyway, we can argue about that. Trent Williams is good. That's when you say good, I'm going to compare you to somebody that's good. And that, to me, that's good. But I will say this. One of the unintended consequences of running the ball so much is you got to think about the wear and tear, not only your running back, but the wear and tear on your offensive line. When you are up there putting hands on grown men 30, 40 times a game, you got to look at it. And they pull guys too. That takes a toll on your body, especially when you got a physical group up there. So I think what you're seeing a little bit is the fact that, you're starting to have some wear and tear on your offensive line. And what I've also found is this. When they come back, Deshaun Watson is going to be able to do a couple of things. I call it the Michael Vick get out of jail playbook. When Michael Vick got out of jail after being in the penitentiary for 2 years, he got with Andy Reid and he said, well, listen, and I actually heard Andy Reid talk about this in different interviews and documentaries. I think Andy Reid is one of the best play callers that get his playmakers the ball, and he changes his identity based on who he has, not on what he wants people to run.
That's
Michael Vick came back from the penitentiary and he said, look, one thing that if you have a mobile quarterback like a Mike Vick or a guy that can run, or with Jalen Hurts and things like that, you use that avenue as a calling card, and sometimes you don't even have to use it. If you're the backside defensive end and any play away from you, you now have to respect that it could be read option that way. It could be RPO that way. It could be bootleg that way. So now you take one defender out the box and you might as well set him on the sideline. Anything away, he has to stay here. He's not going to be in the play trying to go tackle Nick Chubb. Now you look at that front side linebacker, RPO game. Every time they run an RPO, guess what? That linebacker, you got a decision to make. Is it either I'm pulling it and throwing it behind you in the slant, or are you going to keep this thing and run? So now you can do, just by default of him being athletic enough to make those moves and do those things, now you take two defenders, run defenders, out of the play. So now instead of Nick Chubb running against 8-man boxes and you guys want to play man back there, you can no longer do that. You can no longer put Aiden in the box and do that. You got to respect what we can do as far as this pass game. So now, just by default of a threat of something, you can now manipulate the defense and figure out that you got a little more area to run and throw. And then to Deshaun Watson, we call them big time throws. Big time throws is the ones who the mid-league quarterbacks ain't even gonna think about. They're not going to think about throwing that because they wait to see it open. They got to wait to see Amari Cooper open, then they throw it. See, the big time throws is I done throw the ball. Amari Cooper don't even know the ball is there. He turn around, he make his move, and it's there. He puts it right on him. Those are the big time throws where now you're going to be able to get certain throws that unlock different parts of the field. If you always watch the Cleveland Browns, remember, you never see deep posts for the Cleveland Browns because A, you have to manipulate the safety. B, you have to look off the backside safety. And C, you got to have enough touch and accuracy and moxie to stand in there and take a hit because it develops late and to throw the ball with touch over the middle. You don't see it because we don't have quarterbacks that can do all four of those things. So some of those throws will be open now too. Will he be rusty? Sure. But like I said, he's going to have to get up to speed. It is the NFL, right? Not for long.
G. Bush. Well, first, I want to take some time real quick to say that tomorrow is the 40th anniversary of the release of Thriller. What? 40 years ago, Thriller was released by MJ. Oh.
Boy, you ain't got no choice.
So
we'll have more.
boy, if you the greatest, this is exciting. These the greatest. Let me tell you something. Michael Jackson is the greatest to ever do it. I'm gonna tell y'all why. Michael Jackson has been dead for weeks, years. Kids have never seen an interview of Michael Jackson live. Kids don't know about Michael Jackson. But if you put Thriller on, if you put Beat It on, if you put Billie Jean on, are you crazy? Everybody dancing, even thugs. The most thugs had that gold jacket on, that red jacket. Thugs, they shoot people in the face for living, but they out there with that. They out there with the stop playing with me. Michael Jackson. Think about how much power you gotta have. Yeah, I know Beyonce is cool. I know y'all like all the Beehive. Y'all think Elvis was really popular. There's never been a more popular person than Michael Jackson. He had full-grown Korean men passing out. Michael! What? That man is from Thailand. He lives on $4 a month, and that man knows who Michael Jackson is with no cable and 13-hour days in the fields. That's how cold Michael Jackson. Michael!
That is perfect. That is perfect. I need to ask a question. It's kind of tradition on the Locker Room Rant. We do this could you either scenarios.
All right.
So the scenario would be, could you either in your prime? Now, me, I have no prime. So I now is
Everybody
probably my prime.
Even if it had to be adolescent, you were great at something that when you were 8 years old. Even if it wasn't nothing but going to recess, you were great at recess.
You're right. So in your prime, could you either return a punt in an NFL game for a touchdown or hit a home run throughout a whole MLB season off a Major League Baseball pitcher? Could you hit one home run or return a punt in the NFL?
Oh, this is easy. Listen, I don't like to tweet my own horn, but I could have hit multiple home runs in baseball. Actually, to be truthful, the first sport I ever played was baseball. I started playing when I was 6 years old. I played varsity baseball when I was a freshman. My dad vehemently told me never to stop playing baseball. I played 3 sports in high school. And he was just like, don't give up playing baseball. You're crazy. Don't do it. I got to college. I went out to try out to be I got a football scholarship and I wanted to play baseball too. Let me tell you something. It was one of the hardest, I would say 3 months of my life. They were like, yeah, you come on out, but you're going to condition with the baseball team and the football team. Now you got to understand how crazy it is to condition to be a college football player. I mean, it's 6 o'clock workouts and they be trying to check your classes. I wasn't going to class like that. I would just tell them, listen, it's a personal day, dog. If you come over to this economics class, I ain't gonna be there. You're wasting your time, dog, because you have me up lifting these weights and doing deep squats and running outside. Why you think I'm like, bro? I'm not, but I felt like that was a job. I'm not. I'm not about to just go to these classes. But then you had to do that. And then during spring ball, you would do practice spring ball, but then you still had to wake up for morning workouts with the baseball team. And I'm like, I just got done doing morning workouts with the football team. Why would I do that? And I will say this. When you get to, it's the biggest jumping level, right? So you start off, and if somebody throwing 90 in high school, they bringing it. If somebody threw 90 and had a curveball, 2 pitches, they was gold. They was striking everybody out. You get to college, now you add another pitch. Now they got to change up a fastball to curveball, a curveball slider, you know what I'm saying, change up. Some of them got cutters. And when you get out there, everybody throw 90. Now you got guys throwing 95, 96, right? Everybody's seeing them. And the difference between, that's why I always marvel at Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson. For you to come off a football field and they was throwing these balls and these pitches and they can spot them and they got control. So now you see in a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, but they got the curveball that they can throw for a strike, you're dead. You ain't doing that. They got a curveball, 82-mile-an-hour curveball or changeup they can throw for a strike, and you ain't seen them baseball in weeks, you're done. It's the hardest thing I've ever did. I was like, man, I came out there batted like 204 and was like, this ain't it. I just kept playing football. But I always tell people, I sometimes for, shits and giggles, I go to the batting cages, swings and things, or putters, or wherever your local batting cage is, and I get in there and fool people with the little 85. Oh my gosh, you're really stroking it in there, huh? I'm like, no, if you only knew, this is like you only knew, like it's different. You standing there against one of like a professional pitcher, man, the time reaction. And by the way, you get hit with one of them pitches, you almost want to collapse.
Yep. Yes, sir. So are you running one back or are you hitting a homer?
Oh, home run.
He's hitting a homer.
Home run. I'm not running. See, running one back is kind of hard. I
think I have a bet. I'm going to run one back. I got blockers. If I go in there, if Shane Bieber pitches to me 5 days a week for 260 days out of the year, I probably will hit the ball maybe combined 6 times. Maybe. I might never hit the ball. I don't believe that I could hit a professional pitcher and I don't think I have the timing. I don't have the balls to stand in the box. I'd rather just try to run it back.
Running it back. First of all, you got to catch the rock. So you got to catch it off the jugs, right? So you first you got to go like it's like playing baseball in the center fielder. You got to track the football. Then you got to rotate your eyes to the guy that's less than 2 to 3 inches away from you every single time you catch it. Then you have to make the first or the second guy miss and then avoid a blind side that's coming from the back. Like returning punts is a reason why people don't do it. Like Josh Cribbs is like a legend because he could just return punts, and then here's the thing too. You got to be super fast because somebody might catch you. You might get a couple blocks.
I got going for me.
John's electric in the open field.
Elusive.
G. Bush, this is the way I see it. I catch the ball. I hurry up. I hit that square button. I hit him with a spin, right?
Right.
I hit him with a spin. So I'm going to roll off that back hit, and then I'm out.
You're out. Listen, sometimes you spin and you spin right into a helmet. I'm like, where did that guy come from? Yeah, we was waiting on that dog.
All right, last one. Would you rather fight a grizzly bear on land or a great white shark in the water?
Fortunate for me, this is a really easy answer because Black people don't be in those situations. You don't find I'm tempted to ask people, Google me and find me one victim of a great white that's a brother. We not even in that habitat like that. We don't even mix those two things like water plus like them as deep water creatures. Like where would you have to be in order to get eaten and attacked by a shark? That's crazy to me. I don't understand it. Like, and then the whole bear thing is like, once again, where are Black people sleeping in the wilderness by themselves? Why would I be in a forest area? We only know Yogi the Bear. That's it. We only mess with Yogi. That's it. Like, there's no, like, where am I gonna be at, like, for the bear? And I'll say, okay, well, I'm definitely not gonna be in the water. That's not happening. The Yogi Bear thing, bears, climate change is a thing. We are destroying their habitat. They are migrating closer and closer to where we are. I've always said this about bears, though. Like, how would a bear be that close to you? We have a sixth sense. We take off running if we hear anything like scuffles on the pavement. You're like, hold on, what everybody running about? I'm gonna run too. I'm not even waiting to see what's running. Like, why would I see a bear miles away and then be stationary long enough for him to be next to me? I would think most likely the bear would be most likely where I would see it at. But my awareness is way too high for a bear, and I'm willing to be in my car on that one. No.
So the answer is by process of elimination.
Yes.
The answer is bear, because you would not even be around a scenario which would contain a great white shark.
Yeah, I told my wife, like, there's a certain rule. Like, my prenuptial agreements are about the ways I will not die. I will not die jumping in the water to save you. I don't even watch Titanic. I will not die running around outside. What are you outside at dawn for in a rainforest? Sorry. Get up out of here, Whitney Houston. Anybody jumping in front of you for no doggone bullet? Yeah, you better figure it out. Hey, I love you enough. Figure it out. You might want to get home on time. All that chivalry stuff is dead, bro.
Oh shit.
You guys are pretty fun, man. I like this, man. You guys are fun, man.
Well, we appreciate it.
G Bush, you're the best.
Just feel free to let us know.
Man, you guys are funny, man. I like you guys. If they do go 6-0, man, I'll come back on. If they go back 6-0, they'll be 10-7. I'll come back on. We didn't even get to we didn't even get. He said you a Bills fan, right?
Yeah.
We didn't even get to it. Like, see, I'm a big believer in you got to play the right way. Aren't you scared a little bit that Josh Allen got a lot on his plate?
Yeah,
I mean, they the team that they got the college playbook in the NFL, and I'm like, how often, like, their number one rusher, Josh Allen, and like their team is like a team you play on Madden that you done drafted a guy, and then you done souped him up, you done made his ratings. He's a 6'5", 290-pound guy with a 99 throwing power, 96 speed, awareness over the top, and you just run the ball every play or do whatever God you want knows what. Josh Allen is going to get tired one day. And I'm like, wow, y'all want him to do a whole lot, man. We going to see, man.
G. Bush, I'm good with it. Like, I like the way they use him. And I hope that when Trey Lance takes the helm, we do not change anything. I believe maybe not as many design runs as they put him in, but I like the way that they use Josh Allen. I like that. I just, to me, coming out of San Francisco, we are obviously, you said you bang up your running backs. We have a history of banging up our running backs. I mean, we
you're
bang
gonna be
them
tired.
up.
That's it.
But that run game is essentially where, by committee, you guys got Dearness Johnson chilling on ice. Ford chilling on ice. I mean, all four backs should be used. This blows my mind. There should be no RB1 in Cleveland. It should be committee, period.
I said it once.
And give the guy first carry.
I said it once. I'll say it again. If Kyle Shanahan had Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt would be baby Debo. They would use him like they use Debo Samuel.
I didn't see the 49ers. I didn't see the 49ers the year that they told us that we was going to be good with Baker. We went out there and got smoked. Mm-hmm. We went out and got smoked. We couldn't throw the ball. We couldn't pass the ball. That game was uglier than it was. Then, to me, there's a couple people that is as innovative as they come in a run game. Mind you, we had Kyle Shanahan here. He also was the guy who stood up in front of ownership and said, I'm going to give you a 5-part PowerPoint as to why I'm never going to coach here again. and why I need to get the hell out of Dodge. And at the time, he was rightfully so in doing so. But if he had Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, bro, they wouldn't lose. It'd be a problem. They would just, they just can't catch one. The Jimmy G just keep coming back, man. He's back in the mix now. I don't know, Trey Lance. What is this, year 3 for him?
Yeah,
2.
Oh,
it's the second year. So
it'll be year 3 when he gets to take the field.
Yeah. See, so the year 3, and I'm scared on all that. Trust me, when I went through it, that year 3 stuff be playing around. You'd be like, look, Tua just got good.
Yeah. Hey, there's context. G. Bush, there's context. There's context. There's Mike McDaniel, came from Shanahan's coaching tree, been connected to the hip over 15 years together, right? The scheme is tailor-made for the quarterback. That matters. Post dink and dunk. That I'm telling you, brother, that's where you see Tua excel, is because of the system.
The system matters with the quarterback. It matters.
It does. It does.
Matters. Definitely matters.
It really does.
Size matters. Size matters, guys. Pause.
Manscaped, come and get us, baby. We need that. We need that representation. We got you.
Yeah, we need that money, Manscaped. We need to start making money off this shit.
Bitch better have my money. Y'all should know me well enough. Bitch better have my money.
Yeah, this is why we don't get, we can't have nice things here, G. Bush. We get copyright infringements every single week. I had to go to copyright school. Have you gone to YouTube copyright school?
No. Has anybody gone to YouTube copyright school?
Yes, the locker room rant. We got more strikes than Nolan Ryan, bro.
Yeah, copyright. I don't know what happened. What food you talking about? Copyright.
Yeah, we need those crickets over there. G. Bush, I don't know. You kind of gave us a little time frame that you had. I don't know where you're at on that time frame.
I'm in overtime. I don't think she's giving me the eye yet, but I am talking in the next room. So she's probably like, "You better be nice, right?"
Not feeling the heat through the wall.
Right. I'm not feeling the heat through the wall yet. But guys, I was on a time limit today, but I don't have a problem coming back. So if you have me come back, no problem. I'll come back.
There's
we can chop it up.
Chair for you, my man.
Hey, we don't even have to talk about the Browns. We talk about whatever y'all want to talk about.
Right.
We love talking talking NBA to NBA, all football teams, all sports and
all that. I'm an insomniac. I take Ambien to go to sleep every single night. So I'll be all on the YouTube. You don't know how many rabbit holes I'll be down in YouTube. Just
oh man,
if you check
my Bush, we talk Cavs, my man. We talk Buckeyes. We should get you back here in the future, man, and just spend some time chopping it up a little bit about everything. My man, for myself, I appreciate you, man, more than you know. I totally love what you do over there at the barbershop, man. I was trying to catch up and familiarize myself with you today while I was working, but tell you what, I really truly appreciate you taking the time, man. Thank the wife. Let her know that the fellas over at the Locker Room Rant truly appreciated having her man over here. I was excited when I heard that Nick landed this one. If you enjoyed us, man, give us a shot again. You've always got a chair at the table, man. Anytime.
Hey, man, and y'all out here, man, listen, support good, up-and-coming local talent, man. Support that, man, because here's the reality, man, and you're not going to get the real. I pride myself on being real. I always tell people, I'm not trying to audition. I'm never coaching for the Browns. I'm not trying to go to the cookouts. I'm not trying to go to your birthday parties. And that's great. Because I could just say what I want, but support, guys like this. They doing a great job of putting out entertaining content, and that's the new wave. That's why everybody's unplugging those cords. They don't got cable no more. People are on the internet because people like this are giving more and more consistent and better content than the guys that getting big time checks every single week. Now, here's the thing. We need them to get some checks too. I believe in people getting paid. I believe in people at one point in time, and that's the big thing I'm trying to fight against and break through with, is that sometimes they believe because you doing it on YouTube, you somehow less, and that they shouldn't pay you for your time, your energy, and your effort. I don't believe in that. I feel like people that if you start doing that, anybody that comes on my pod, I do something with John Costco, right? Pro Football Focus. He comes on, and I pay him every single time he does it, right? And I don't. And you say, well, why don't you charge like that? Because for me, this is personal for me. For me, I feel like I have a mandate. Like I have to. Like I remember being by myself and couldn't get a job, and I started off answering phones, and I was sitting in in my car, like trying to figure out, like, man, I'm a failure, bro. Like I can't get into the game. And I remember just sitting there, like crying, like asking God what I did wrong. I'm like, man, I ain't shoot nobody. Like I don't got no kids. Like I treat people good. And why am I not on? And there's all these other dudes that's getting all, like, I'm like, bro, you on? That guy got a radio show? And then he told me, he said, listen, man, don't worry about what they doing. What you got to do is do you at the highest level. And when you get on, always remember that you got to give back, because guess what? There's a lot of people that feel just like you, and they don't have no lifeline. They don't got nobody to tell them, like, oh yeah, cool, I'll come on, no problem, I'll just do it. I feel like I have to do that. It's a mandate. That's just something for me that I got a personal belief about. So my goal is to elevate people and to get them there one by one. You know, and there's a great talented people out here like yourself, and they just need a light. Y'all didn't need me. Y'all just need a light. And at this time, I got a kind of a little bit of light, but guess what? It ain't gonna always be like that. It's gonna come a time where I want everybody like y'all to be higher than I am. So I can go to y'all and be like, hey man, what's up, fellas? Hey, put me on real quick. I just want to be on one day. That's what you're supposed to want. You want everybody you meet to be to a point where they successful. And if you can get your people that's successful, 10 successful people. If I work hard and I lost it all today, if I help 10 successful people, then them 10 successful people can give me a shot here, maybe a shout out, maybe a tweet, maybe come on my show. And then guess what? Those successful people can help me get back on. So it's just all about collaboration. It's all about good, positive energy. And it's all about, giving back to people and not even on the charity stuff. It's just collaborating and shedding light on other people's talents. That's what I just feel.
G. Bush, I'll tell you something, man. It's very competitive. It's a very saturated field of work, right?
Yeah.
In San Francisco podcast, one of the reasons why I wanted to do the show with Nick and Tony was because the San Francisco YouTube community is phenomenal, but there are just so many shows that, like, it intimidated me right back into my chair, where I just leaned back and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to make this by myself.
Yeah.
And Tony came to me one day and he's like, look, dude, I saw you on a show, man. I love what you did. Something I want to do. We talked about this. We talk sports together off the television, like off the screen, bro. Nick and I yell at each other on a day-to-day basis. You know what I mean? Why not just yell at it right on screen for everybody to see, right? We're family, these guys, right? Mm-hmm. So we thought, let's just take our talents to YouTube and see what we can make of it. We got a Bills fan, a Browns fan, a Niners fan. We know our shit. Let's just see what we can do and see if we can collaborate. And I've learned it along the way, man, that some avenues are just very competitive. Mm-hmm. And sometimes folks just aren't going to be as eager to give you a hand, but until you ask, you'll never know. Right.
That's the thing.
And sometimes, I've reached out many times to, even like, I don't know how many times I've DM'd Nick Bosa, one of my favorite Niner players. I can't tell you how many times.
Keep giving it.
It went from like 30 minutes to like, dude, if you give me 5 minutes,
right?
Just 5 minutes. But I'm just saying, like, I appreciate it, man, because that's exactly how it should be, man. If you came up and the only thing you can do is, lend out an olive branch and be like, listen, bless these guys, bless any creator that you come across.
man.
For a strong following, to get them 1,000 subs, to get those 4,000 watch hours, bro.
What you talking about?
We're tripping over here, bro. We can never figure out why. What are we doing wrong, bro? Why are we still 800 subs shy of where we need to be? Why are we still 1,800 hours short of what we need to do? Like, 4,000 watch hours is ridiculous anyway.
I'm gonna tell you.
I think we need to lower the bar a little.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this, and this is, in this, the only reason I'm here saying that is because I done said the same. You gotta understand. I done been in the same place, that same joint, and I remember. And just to tell you, like, I've been doing this. I've been in the radio industry for 12 years. I started and went back to broadcasting school after I got out of college, right? And let me tell you this: when they said you got to have 1,000 hours or 1,000 followers and 4,000 hours, I say you tripping. I ain't never getting this. I'm getting like 35, here or there, 36 here or there. But let me tell you something: if you consistent and you consistent and you always look to say, what am I doing? I used to watch people's makeup tutorials, right? I used to watch makeup tutorials just to see lighting. I used to say, yo, I went to my mom and said, my lighting is trash. I need a camera. Like, so I said, everything's trash. Like, I'm like, how are they lighting this so well? So I would sit there in the middle of the night and do it. Then I was like, man, you know what, man? Is my camera good? You know how you go through that stage where you buy all kind of cameras. You got all kind. I got the Nikon 3016. I got a Sony A6400 with the 1.8 millimeter. And you be like, bro, this still ain't hitting, dog. You still looking trash. You know what I'm saying? My streams kept dropping. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. But you'll find your niche. You'll find, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be at. And that first show you do, is you get 5,000 or get 10,000, it'll be like, yo, wow, I couldn't remember when we only got like 3 or 4. If you keep going to be consistent, always remember, I'd rather have, I'm close to 10,000 subscribers, right? But I look at people like Quincy, he got 30,000, right? I try not to look at it like that. I look at it as for me. I remember when I have no subscribers and I look at it like 9,000 people said they believe in you enough that anytime you do something, they gonna watch y'all. Anytime you drop something, they gonna pull up on you. And if you get enough of those people won't let you fail, bro, because they really believe in what y'all talking about. They believe in you per se. And I'd rather have 10,000 of the realest, most passionate fans than 100,000 laissez-faire fans that, you see them people, they go live. I'm like, how you got 100,000? How you got 100,000? You go live and I see you with like 5 people in your live. That means you ain't doing something. That means they don't believe in. I'm like, you seen them? You like,
oh, yeah.
They're buying subs. They're buying subs.
You know what it is. You know what it is.
I'll say this. I'm still shocked. We've been doing this for like about a year and a half now. I'm still shocked that people come in every week and watch us. It's still kind of crazy that actually happened.
That means your heart.
We got our faithful out here, G Bush. I mean, they're good. They're good to us, man.
Well, that means y'all's heart in the right place. There's a lot of these dudes that I work with. And listen, I always look at it. Y'all been in the industry how many years? You may not have to do what I need to do. But I told myself, like, I'm still gonna never say no, because I don't know. Like, yeah, I got a show that I'm doing right now. Heck, the way the industry work, we get like 1-year contracts. That could be out of here tomorrow. And somebody be like, oh, we don't want this. I've been doing a radio show on the weekends. And the radio show on the weekends, I've been working 4 hours. People say, when you gonna get more time? I said, nah, I ain't even really worried about it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna capitalize on that time. I'm gonna make the best of it. I was like, I gotta get logos. I gotta get, I run my own bumpers. I do my own music beds. I'll go out and produce the own shows, all of that. I spend the majority of my money on reinvesting in my other things. I got a pilot out called the Barbershop tour, where we go to different barbershops in Northeast Ohio and basically sit down with community leaders and athletes and different things like that. And so I shot a pilot with 2 of them so I could pitch it to like television stations. So we at the end of that, I got a cooking show that I'm trying to do where it's like basically we stole Triple D, diners, drive-ins, and dives. So we just do it in a local style. Me and Adam the Bull. I stole that. I was like, all right, well, let's put money into that. So I try to put my own money back into it so that, you know, any given moment I can say, all right, well, this is cool here, but I got a lot of different other things that I want to do too. So I want to just keep reinvesting and doing those things. But y'all will be there. Trust me. Like we'll tap back in because this happened with people who I look at their channel and then one day it just explodes. Next day, and that's the exponential part of it too. See, it happens slowly. Like it's delayed success in life, or it's delayed consequences in life. Because there's a lot of people y'all gonna catch that's in the industry that ain't on YouTube, don't know how to edit no video. They really cocky, arrogant. Well, I used to be on channel so-and-so back in 95. Well, it ain't 95 no more, dog. If you ain't on the internet, you ain't on Twitter, you don't know how to edit, you really don't know what's going on with the lingo, you up out of here. Like, because cats like you will be building streaming platforms where you can go right to the consumer and sell what you guys sell. And I'm telling you, that's where it's going with the advertisers too, because they're saying these people represent a rabid fan base. You got to find them if you want to support them. That's how crazy when somebody says a subscriber, you be like, I got 15,000. They got to find you, right? To do it. So now the advertising companies, all they got to do is say, well, let me go ahead and pull up and let me show you, let me put my product in front of your people and y'all will be able to do it. So long story short, man, I appreciate y'all for offering me to come on. I had a blast. Like I said, I'm definitely down to come back again. You need any help and any if you just want to just pick my mind on some different things, then I'm gonna shoot you that. What I told you I was gonna do before, I'm gonna send that to y'all too. So praying for much success for y'all. Y'all keep doing your thing, and I definitely see y'all gonna be doing big things.
G Bush, you're the best, buddy. You're welcome. Welcome back anytime. And once again, thank you for making Nick's Make-A-Wish Foundation dream come true, buddy.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, he told me he had the slow jam. He said, I got about 5 weeks to live on the slow jam. I said, oh, for real? Let me go up. I said, man. And then he said he was like 13. I said, oh, me might got that Benjamin Button. I don't know. You see some people that got the disease where they be real old, but he like in 5th grade. He was like, I'm in 5th grade.
That Benjamin Button disease.
I said, dang, man. I had to call my mom. I said, Mom, I'm shook up, man. I'm doing this Make-A-Wish Foundation thing. I'm thinking about trying to give his family like a little 50 or 60 bucks for some food for the refrigerator. This dude called me. He said he was 13, but he was 40 in the face.
Awesome.
Garrett Bush, everybody. Garrett Bush, my man.
I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, bro. Take care
Thank
of yourself,
you.
my man.
You have a good night, man. I appreciate
You
y'all,
too. Bye-bye.
Tell the wife we said hi.
Wow, guys, that was so awesome. Great dude, huh?
Oh yeah,
awesome. Chat, thank you guys, everybody. Bash, thank you so much, man. Christy, Tanya, Coach Cruz, TL, my man, good to see you. Laney, good to see you. My homie, Scott, Adam, what's up, family? So good to see you guys. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Jerry, JT, Havoc, I saw you in there, bro. George, everybody, thank you guys for rocking with us tonight. We were a little bit lax on the chat, man. I was trying to keep in touch with you guys, but we brought on Garrett Bush, man. Just a real good dude. Somebody who's been through this podcasting thing, knows a thing or two on how to grow a channel and how to be successful doing it, man. And it was pretty dope. It was pretty dope. Joel, good to see you, family.
People don't do that shit anymore. Like people just don't do that. You know what I mean? If people ask, hey, you want to come on my show? The first thing they're going to do is look at how many subscribers you have. And they'll be like, well, why would I do that for publicity and for my show with 200? That's where people's minds go. So the fact that he's,
unfortunately, it is.
The fact that he is where he is and decided to come on to make Nick's Make-A-Wish Foundation. Nick, that's a great idea, by the way. telling him you were an 8-year-old kid with problems.
You are an asshole. That is terrible.
That was genius.
No,
You know what,
But you know
John?
what?
You better reach out to
Doug's got
Bosa.
problems.
You better reach out to Bosa
Reach out to
next.
Bosa.
Be like, hey, I don't know
Your
what
own
to tell you,
Make-A-Wish.
Bosa. I'm 7 years old. I look fine.
I'll be like, Bosa, listen, man. I'm not making up shit. I'm telling him straight up that we want him on, dude. We're Buckeye fans. I'm a Niners fan. I just want you to come on the show, chop it up with us a little bit. You know, we got that Ohio hometown, you know. We've got something in common, bro. Just want you to get on the show, you know, and that's right, TL, and that's right, Coach Cruz. I preach that, man. I think that's facts. You know, if it benefits them some way, somehow, then great. But a guy like Garrett Bush, who has started from the bottom, made it to the top, right, is here to just lend a hand and say, you know, he gave us 1 hour and 35 minutes of his time.
Mm-hmm.
He gave us 1 hour and 35 minutes of his time. He gave us 35 more minutes than he said he would. And he kicked it with us. He rocked with the chat. You guys were respectful. You guys were awesome. I love it, man. I appreciate you guys. But we learned something from this today, guys, that like you can be so successful on YouTube and still lend a hand to the small guys and tell us, you know, exactly what it is that we need. And it was dope. I think it was a great job, Nick. I'll give you your props, bro. You did a good job reeling in a big fish.
That was a shot in the dark, buddy.
Nick.
We're just lucky Garrett Bush is a good guy to come on our show. And
That forehead of yours finally paid off. That big ass forehead.
That big ass.
Oh, yeah.
That,
This kid's got fucking problems.
Picture, the Make-A-Wish Foundation kind of looks more realistic.
All right, guys. We didn't even get to like the top priority in sports today.
I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American. Fight for what's right.
Nice.
Fight for your life.
U.S. soccer
I hope you tear
advances
that ugly
to the
ass-
knockout stage. Hey, how about before we went on, John? Nick was like,
licked his ass with his jersey. Oh, he was trying to get it to fit because he bought it in a youth large.
yeah, he bought a large.
I bought it
I
in a
said-
large. I should have
Nick,
bought
what-
a jersey a size bigger than I normally wear.
Yeah.
Why
It
would you
doesn't
ever
even look
buy
like
a
your head
large?
fit through the neck.
Yeah.
What's that?
Your neck.
How
it
did you
doesn't
get the
fit
head
in
through the
there.
neck?
He didn't even have enough room for his chain to go in there, so he had to wear it on the outside.
Because it's a large.
Jesus. Idiot. He probably taped it on. He probably ripped it. It's probably fucking duct
It's,
taped.
it's not that bad. It's like a.
Yeah.
Yeah,
arm-
look at the back.
It's
The
just
back
my
is
arms are
fucking
massive.
screaming at the seams.
It's
The
just my arms.
seams are screaming right
It's just
now.
my massive arms are a little tight. That's about it.
Did you get that in the
Oh, yeah.
maternity section?
Yeah. He got it. He got it. A youth XL is lying to you.
All right, now that G. Bush isn't on the show, we can be mean to Nick again.
Yes.
I felt bad being mean to him while he was on the show. All right, let's get back to
Do
being
you hear
mean
my
to
sound
Nick.
effects? Are any of my sounds coming out right now?
No,
Son of a bitch.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I-
Nick,
I-
scratch your back. Nick, scratch your back.
It'll tear.
I
You
didn't
can't
watch
even move in that thing.
I didn't watch the whole game, but I watched like the last 20 minutes of it. It was basically Iran trying to draw a penalty.
They did.
That's what you took from it?
Yes, that's all they were trying to do.
Why can't I
Tell you
get
what.
these sounds to work?
They worked just now.
Oh, good.
That one worked.
All right.
3 times, 3 games they've played. 3 games they've played so far in the World Cup, and they've only allowed 1 goal. That's pretty remarkable, especially when the fact that you played some pretty high intensity offensive teams. England, if you shut out England, you have a top defense. I got news for you guys. That team is stacked from top to bottom.
You know what?
But the offense was crippled today. Pulisic got hurt, crippled. It was they couldn't secure this game with a second goal. We have a problem there. Like you can't go into the knockout stages not able to score. Like we need to put the ball in the net. And there were 3 or 4 crosses that we could not get in the net. You know, like Iran's not bust out either. Like they gave us a good match today. Like I give it to Iran. They were not that bad. Okay. But I thought we would score at least 4 goals, and we put 1. We got just what we needed not to go home today.
You know what?
Not going to cut it in the knockout stages.
I don't get how we had to win this game today. I don't get how we had to win this game today. Like,
well, you know what, Nick? Start watching the fucking World Cup. Start paying attention to the group. We're in Group B. Start paying attention and understand how you get out of the group. You win. You got to win.
Wales.
You got to win 1 game.
We tied against
Look, Iran. Do you know that Iran advances with a Wales draw or something else had to happen? I think they had to win or Wales had to have a draw. But nonetheless, to get out of this group stage, you've got to win a game. You need a goal differential to move out of the group stage.
But they got fucking punished by England. They lost 6-2.
Doesn't matter. We didn't score goals to win.
I just don't understand.
Go 0-0, that's 1 point. You go 1-1, that's a point. So in the group stage, you want to win, dude. You got to win.
But our goal differential was better than theirs because they let up 6 goals against England, and they only scored 1 total.
But we hadn't won.
JT, I was trying to be on my best behavior with that guy on. Now I feel like I can fuck off.
Now you're letting all your splashing out.
I felt the same way, JT. That's hilarious.
Yeah. All right. Can we talk a little Niners before we go on to anything else?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. So did you guys watch the Saints game?
Another vintage performance by Jimmy G.
Okay. I mean, it was all right.
Yeah. When's the last time Jimmy's thrown an interception? It's been
have this,
like 3-4 games.
Do you have this answer, or you're just asking?
No, I'm just asking.
No, he's right. It's been 3 or 4 games.
It's been like 3 or 4 games. All this time I've heard Jimmy G. All this time I've heard about Jimmy G. How all he does is throw interceptions.
I mean, he's thrown pickable balls. They were just dropped. You know
that touchdown pass this past weekend probably should have been picked off. The one that was tipped.
That was Honey Badger too.
It was scripted.
Honey Badger.
It was meant to happen.
But all right, so the thing is, I'm not going to bash the guy. I'm not going to sit here and bash Jimmy because it's just unwarranted, right? I'm just, again, though, when I see the Joe Montana, Steve Young, and the Jimmy Garoppolo 41-19 bullshit, like in the group chat with the fellas, right? Like
those guys had good teams too.
Those guys had good teams too, but they won the big one. We did not win the big one versus the Chiefs in 2019. Okay, so that goes against Jim, right? Those guys could also carry the team on their back and make every throw on the football field. And I know you guys are going to say that doesn't matter, but it does matter. G. Bush said the same thing. You know, there are big throws, and then there are just intermediate throws. And in my opinion, Jimmy is a very intermediate thrower. He's just middle of the road, average. He's
How about
not
this?
elite. And that's just what it takes if you want to make me fucking scream, yelling, woo, fuck yeah! He's better than Joe Montana and fucking Steve Young. Yeah, fuck yeah, man. But he's not.
There's just some guys who are winners. There's just some guys who are winners, and he just oozes win. He oozes winning. He's won.
He's been in San Francisco for how many years, and he's only put together 3 fucking seasons.
You know what, John? He's not
Sit there and
asked.
fucking.
He's not asked to be a Joe Montana. He's not asked to be a Steve Young and go out there and start
100% correct.
slinging the ball all over the fucking place. It's not the kind
Tell
of
that
offense.
to the folks that want to ram that fucking stat up my ass.
But
49er fans that, Jimmy stands are fucking over the moon with that.
But they
don't even give a fuck. Half of them weren't even alive to even witness the greatness of Joe Montana and Steve Young. They don't fucking care. All they see is 41-19 and their fucking asses are fucking wet. All right? Like, I'm good. Like, I don't need that shit.
But that's a very good stat.
Jimmy's stats are good for Jimmy. I just don't want them fucking mixed with Joe Montana. And
They're good for anyone, though.
But there's always, there's context, Nick. There's context to it. That's all I'm saying.
There's context to everything, though, John.
I'll tell you what,
Okay.
that dude ends up with a ring in San Francisco.
It's a Hall of Famer.
We're gonna be having some weird conversations, buddy.
Look, Mick, no.
Weird shit.
Dude, I'll be saying weird shit. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, I want a fucking ring. My friends in the chat want a fucking ring. I don't give a fuck who's on the other end of that fucking thing. Just do it.
I
Throw the fucking ball. Don't do this intermediate shit.
I brought up something last week, Tony.
Sling the
after you
motherfucker.
left.
Put it up there and let these guys make plays. Fucking put it up there.
I brought up something after you left, Tony, last week. Is there a possibility that Jimmy G's the starting quarterback next year?
No, we won't be able
Absolutely.
to afford him. I said this
Even
to
if
you.
they don't win the Super Bowl.
Why is it? Explain to me, Nick.
Say they
why
give
it
me
is
another
that
NFC championship.
Why do you just think this up in your fucking head? Listen,
It's just
how many fucking brain cells do you have? A carbon monoxide detector plugged in over there,
it's
motherfucker?
just what I've been seeing. It's just what I've been seeing. What I've been seeing from the way the team rallies around this guy. And just the success is undeniable.
The adoration and fucking camaraderie from the fucking locker room isn't going to get him paid.
But
we got other guys to pay.
I think there was.
Don't you understand? Jimmy's playing for a contract,
but I don't think Jimmy's. I think Jimmy would take a similar contract to the one that he has now, maybe a little more couple
Nick,
years.
Jimmy's probably going to be offered a contract worth maybe 3 years, $30 million as a Jet.
How big?
I don't think so. I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think.
Well, we can't afford him. We couldn't afford him at 26. We can't afford him at anything. We can't afford him.
You can afford him at 16.
We still have to pay Bosa.
You can afford him at 16.
Hank, how are you? Hank in the house. We got Raphael in the house. What's going on?
What's up?
Hit
Raph?
like
Good
and
to see you.
subscribe. Like and subscribe down below, everybody. If you're just now joining us, I highly recommend going back to the beginning of the show and checking us out from the beginning. Had a special guest, G Bush, on. Can't say enough about the guy. Super, super awesome coming on with us and just kind of sharing some tricks of the trade before the show went live. So I don't think we wrote anything down. So it'll
Watch it again.
it was before the show went live. Remember, he was like sharing a bunch of tricks with us, and none of us were writing anything down, so
We got it on record.
we don't have it on record. That's the problem.
I mean, we can't.
All right,
afford
so hold on.
it.
Are you
Taryn, do
sure?
you think so, man?
You're sure you can't afford him?
I'm sure we cannot afford him.
I think you can afford.
If what TL says, if he wins the Super Bowl, his value goes through the fucking roof.
But if he
And
gets
we will
an
not
NFC
be able to afford
championship game, I think if he gets an NFC championship game, I think out of 3 full years, a Super Bowl lost and 2 NFC championship appearances, I think that's undeniable success.
Okay,
Undeniable.
Nick, it's success, but it's look, his price tag is going to go up this season regardless.
He had a price
We
tag
will
last
not
year.
be able
Nobody
to afford
wanted him. Nobody wanted him for free last year.
Yeah, well, now they're going to start fucking coming. They're going to start coming out of the woodworks.
But you know, there were a lot of excuses.
And
like
I
this
think
year.
the Jets are going to fucking pay him a good chunk to be
I
the
think there were-
quarterback of the fucking New York Jets. Unless this white kid, Mike White, is Tom Brady, the next Tom Brady, because he throws a beautiful football. That dude throws a beautiful football. Period. I that's all mic drop for me on Mike White.
Here's the thing. Like, I think last year it was one of those things where, oh, the team was supposed to be awesome. This year there was a lot of walking back. They were like, you know what, maybe this team's not going to be quite as good because the offensive line's bad. And if Jimmy was going to play against this with this offensive line, Jimmy was going to be horrible. And he's playing with that offensive line, and he's been good. He's been excellent. He's almost been better than ever. He's actually been better than ever with this offensive line. Like, there's no excuses. Like, Jimmy's just a winner. He's
Okay, but nobody is sitting here saying to you that Jimmy doesn't win football games. But Jimmy wins football games because it's tailored that way.
But John,
Jim's not putting this team on his back, Nick.
Then Taylor.
He's not doing it.
Then Taylor.
Debo put the team on his back last year and got us to the NFC Championship game.
Okay.
I mean, almost single-handedly
But you guys
carried us to the last 5 games was Debo Samuel. You
But
understand
you guys
that?
expected to be worse this year. You guys expected to be worse this year.
I don't
you guys-
think we expected to be
No, you
worse.
guys
I think
You guys told me you were going to be worse.
no, we
You
did
guys
not
told me it was
expect to be worse.
You guys told me Trey Lance was going to be
This
better.
roster is too good to be not good.
You guys told me that every single 49ers besides for Joey and Brandon, every single 49er told me you can't expect Trey Lance to have as much success as Jimmy because the team
That's
is
not
worse.
true.
Because the
That's
team
not
is
true.
John,
That's
I mean,
bullshit.
Taryn
I
is
said
in
to
here.
you-
Taryn
I
said
said
the
to
exact
you-
thing.
No, Terrence said he does not expect us to win a Super Bowl with Trey Lance because that's an unrealistic
No,
expectation.
he said unrealistic.
That's what we
because-
said.
because the offensive line is worse. And then when Trey Lance,
We were concerned that this offensive line, Nick, we can't say it was going to be something without seeing.
It's
We were
on
just
video.
afraid.
It's on video.
No, here's the thing, dude.
I actually
you're
really
fucking-
like that episode. I watch it back over and over again.
You're a fucking weasel. All we said was we are not confident in this offensive line.
He is a weasel.
We hadn't seen this offensive line. So don't sit there and put fucking words in my mouth and say
And then I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm telling you exactly
the
what
fuck
guys
you
said.
aren't. You're sitting here telling me verbatim what I didn't say.
Verbatim what was said on video. You guys said the cohesiveness with the offensive line. You couldn't expect the team to do as well as they did because they didn't have the cohesiveness with the most important position group on the field. That's exactly what you guys said.
No, that's not.
And then when Trey Lance didn't have a good game against Chicago, when Trey Lance didn't have a good game against Chicago, you guys said it was because of the offensive line. When Trey Lance got hurt in the second game, you guys said it was because of the offensive line. Enter Jimmy G, you guys start winning games. You're one of the best teams in the league.
You know what? Let's take a 15-second fucking break for a station identification, motherfucker, little bitch. Let me be very fucking clear. Let me be very fucking clear. All right? Let me be very fucking clear with you. You fucking shitbag with that jersey looks like you're holding fucking 10 pounds of shit in a 5 fucking pound bag. Let me be very clear with you, okay? Let me be very clear.
He called you a bitch. That's the first time he's ever done that on this show.
Let me be very fucking clear. Let me be very fucking clear. You said that the fucking Browns were going to the Super Bowl this year.
I was wrong.
Now look at you motherfuckers.
Okay.
You were fucking sitting at
about that. I was right about this.
Talking shit. All right. But all right, 15 seconds is up. Let's go. We said that the penalties that the defense they killed us in penalties in Chicago. They fucking killed us.
You did say that.
Okay. And I'm not going to make excuses for the weather because both teams had to play in it.
But you also said the offensive line was playing like shit.
I don't think the offensive line was playing like shit versus the Bears. I can't remember, but I don't think they were. I actually think
a lot of the penalties were on the
our defense. I think our defense gave up 100 yards in fucking penalties, putting the Bears in position to win the football game.
There was quite a few of those penalties were on the offensive line too.
Why are we talking about the Bears game? That was week 1.
I'm just saying the offensive line.
Nick just wants to say,
you're fucking with it. You know what?
Excellent, and Nick just wants to say that the offensive line was excellent. And you're all wrong.
Yeah, he's fucking with you at this point.
TL said we'd go fucking 10-7. I know what he's doing. I don't give a fuck because it doesn't matter. I remember what TL and I were saying because we literally shared the same sentiment the entire offseason. And he and I weren't the only ones concerned about the offensive line. But guess what? We're fucking human. And this offensive line proved us wrong. Best fucking case scenario. You proved us wrong and you're actually good. The problem is Jimmy's still making fucking intermediate throws and he's not carrying this team on his back. He's just executing the offense, and he's doing it very, very consistently. So I'm not mad at him for it. Like, he's doing what he's asked to do. So you're not going to get me to turn on Jimmy and say he's a fucking terrible quarterback. As a matter of fact, I'm on fucking record multiple times saying that Jimmy looks different. Jimmy actually looks like he's reading through his progressions. I see better footwork out of Jimmy, better base work out of Jim. I think that Brian Greasy is actually helping Jimmy be a better quarterback. And I think we are saying an old dog learn new tricks. Like legit. Like I think he's doing better.
I think he's doing the same stuff he always does.
Of course you think so. You're not watching fucking 49er games. I don't expect you to know.
I'm into politics, like you guys know. And there's Democrats and there's Republicans.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mute him. John, why don't you send TL TL said he wants.
I'm already on it. I'm on it.
I'm trying to make a point.
Oh, no, go ahead, Nick.
So there's Democrats and Republicans, and there's basically split down the middle. The elections are typically won by the independents, people who are in the middle. This is what I think is happening in the 49er fan base. I think there were Jimmy's, and I think there were Trey's, and the independents were kind of leaning towards the Treys. But I feel like the last couple weeks, the independents have swayed over to the Jimmy side. And I feel like they want Jimmy as their quarterback. And I feel like if Jimmy has a similar type of success as he had last year, an NFC championship or possible Super Bowl berth, even if he doesn't win it, there's a good solid chance that Jimmy Garoppolo is the starting quarterback of the 49ers next year.
Nick, he can't be because we will not be able to afford him. We have to pay Emmanuel Mosley, Nick Bosa. Dude, we have a lot of work to do financially. A lot of shit to do. Greenlaw. I mean, we got a lot of shit to do. Jimmy is just going to be successful here, and he's going to move on.
Jimmy has proven.
You know what, dude? Jimmy is earning himself, as of right now, a payday. Just not here.
Jimmy has proven.
He's not here.
Jimmy has
because
proven.
You know what? If you knew what you were talking about, you would know that there are guys like Tom Brady being tossed around coming here next year. Aaron
How are
Rodgers.
you guys gonna afford fucking Tom Brady? You can't afford Jimmy.
How
Garoppolo.
the fuck would I know? But if you're gonna make it work, I'd rather take 2 out of the 3.
$30 million, $40 million, $50 million. You can't afford fucking $15 million for Jimmy Garoppolo.
I don't know.
Would you even want Tom Brady? Would you even want Tom Brady over Garoppolo right now?
Absolutely, I would want Tom Brady. Absolutely. I would like Aaron Rodgers. Do you know why?
Okay.
They make every fucking throw on the field.
But Jimmy
every throw.
Need to. And he's proven this.
Jimmy better fucking learn how to, because you know what? The league knows he can't. So shut the fuck up.
Jimmy makes every throw he needs to make.
I'm going to make every fucking punch to the side of your head fucking count. I'm going to tell you this right now, Nick. I'm going to tell you right now.
John.
You when people tell you.
No, John.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
John, you're being very aggressive tonight. I don't know what's gotten into you. You're talking about punching Nick in the head. You called him a bitch. This is not you, buddy. This is not you.
There's something in this core water. This shit's poison.
Something's going on with you.
Either way, I like it because I do want to punch Nick.
The rotten core.
Rotten
I want to
core.
punch you. I want to punch you in your face.
Laney, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Thanks for coming.
The jersey is so fucking tight that you're not getting any fucking oxygen to your fucking bald head.
I'll tell you this. I'm more confident in Jimmy Garoppolo returning to the 49ers next year. If, like I said, if they have a similar type of success than I was him returning for this year.
Again,
God, yeah.
There's you with your beady little eyes preaching about a fucking about a quarterback. You act like money doesn't fucking exist in that.
Bitch better have my money.
If somebody tells you,
know me well enough. Bitch better have my money.
If you're gonna make it work, if you're gonna try to make it work with Jimmy, and you have an opportunity to make it work with Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, you better make it work with Tom Brady.
Jimmy's going to cost you about $25 million less than those guys.
TL, get his ass. Come on.
Oh my God, man!
They want to win.
Can you guys hear me, man?
Oh, we can hear you
loud and clear.
Well, first and foremost, man, I can't wait to see you guys in April, man. I'm looking forward to it. You guys are some great dudes, man, and I just can't wait to see it. But so let me get this started real quick, man. Nick, I love you, brother, but you got to get your head out of Jimmy's lap. You really do.
Face first.
Get your head out of his lap, brother. Get your head out of his lap. Let me tell you something, man. If you're gonna quote me correctly. I never said that the Niners were gonna be better or worse, whatever the case may be. What I said was, I fully expect Trey to struggle the first few weeks of the season to get him acquainted with this offense, get some chemistry going with the guys. I said about bye week, I think that Trey's going to hit his stride. The chemistry is going to be there, and then we're going to go 10-7. I never said anything else.
I said, here's what I said. I said, do you expect, or would it be considered a failure if Trey did not meet the same success as Jimmy Garoppolo? I'm talking about reaching an NFC championship or maybe even a playoff game less. And you said it is unreasonable to assume that would happen because there's deficiencies on the offensive line, and that is the most important position group.
I did. I did say that,
Yeah.
and the offensive line is. And
I did. Now, you know what? Funny how when TL comes on the screen, you almost get it verbatim.
I never said that you said that they were gonna stink.
You
said that a lot different, doesn't it, Tony?
No, you did say that.
I said exactly what you just said. That's almost verbatim what you said.
I said, yeah, you're correct about that, but that's not what you said before I got on.
But the thing
you said something totally different, brother.
No, I didn't.
Exactly.
You did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did, Nick. Yes, you did. No, you didn't. No, you're right about that. I did say that. I said I'm worried about the offensive line. I said I'm worried about us losing Tomlinson. Aaron Banks has proved me wrong. So yeah, we all know football. When it comes to the offensive line, that's the most important piece of the offense for it to go. With no offensive line, you have nothing. So the offensive line has proved me wrong. I had nobody said anything about the offensive line being terrible against the Bears game. I don't remember anybody saying nothing like that. But I do agree. I do agree that that's the only point that you have correct is I did say I was worried about the offensive line, and I said because without the continuity and with Trey being a first-year guy, like we were literally starting 3 new starters on this line. And I said with 3 new starting offensive linemen, and with the first-year starting quarterback, I'm like, man, it's going to be some issues in the first part of the season. And that's why I said, TL getting ready.
TL's dog getting ready to shit on the couch.
I saw him preparing too.
I did too, man. I did too.
Yeah, he was stretching. She likes to stretch on the couch, but yeah. But like I said, me and JV both said with 3 new starters and a first-year starting quarterback, it was going to be some issues. And I said, yeah, I don't think that we would go to the Super Bowl, but I fully expected us to hit the stride right around the bye week, which is week 7 for us. So yeah, and I thought we would go into the bye like 3-4, and then Trey would hit his stride, and then we would go 10-7 and get like a 6 or 7 seed in the playoffs. That's what I thought.
Okay, here's the thing. You guys made it sound like it was going to be worse and that you should expect worse. I said, would it be a failure? And you said no. That means you expect it to be kind of worse. That means you're setting yourself up to expect it to be worse. Now, I did hear people talk about the offensive line in the Chicago Bears game, and
Nick,
I heard
I think
people
me and you
blame
talked
the
about
offensive line. And
like me and you talked about it. Like you gotta hold on for a second. The offensive line kind of sucked in the first game. They had crucial penalties. I think Trent Williams had some crucial penalties. Me and you were at BW3s talking about the offensive line being shitty. So maybe you didn't even hear that from them. Maybe you heard that from
we were talking about it too, but
I just remember the defense committing a lot of penalties in that fucking Bears game, which essentially set them up to score on us late. I mean, but they put up, but they were fucking up the whole damn game, all 4 quarters of football. They were just fucking penalty after penalty after penalty. I mean, they haven't even committed those penalties since that embarrassment, you know? And let's not sit here, and I'm not going to make the rain a fucking excuse, but did you see how much fucking water was falling from the fucking sky in Chicago?
And not to mention, when TL was on and you asked the question, do you expect the 49ers to be better or worse this year with Trey as the quarterback? I specifically remember him saying, I expect them to take a step back. They were in the NFC Championship game. First of all, if you make it to the NFC Championship game, that means you need to win 2 games to be Super Bowl champions. Okay? Why the fuck would anyone think that bringing in a brand new quarterback, they would ever be at that level? You know how hard it is to get there?
Yeah.
Nick wanted us to say that Trey would be a failure if he didn't reach the NFC Championship.
Exactly.
That was what he wanted.
You're trying to set them up to be a dick.
I was.
So you admitted it then. Okay.
But in doing so, I was trying to prove a point. My point was, do you think Trey Lance is a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo is now? The answer, according to them, was yes.
Well, this is what I said. This is
what
I said.
We said that he can make more throws than Jimmy.
That's what we said.
We just said. We also said that Jimmy knows the system.
You guys said plain as day that Trey was better than Jimmy.
This is what I said. I said,
Dude,
Jimmy
you
was
are.
That was 100%, brother.
No,
I still
You
think
are
that's
fucking sick.
I still think
Yeah.
everyone on this panel, except for you, would say that that's an accurate statement. He is better than Jimmy.
I don't understand how anyone could think.
Well, here's what I really said. I said Jimmy in 2021 had 20 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. I fully believe that Trey can copy those numbers, if not more. So I said,
Yeah, because Trey it was such a simplified offense.
It's 20 and 12, bro. I go, if Trey can give us 20 and 12, I don't see why we couldn't go to the NFC champion with the same team with a better defense. It just was worried about the offensive line. That's what my concern was. And that's all I said. And I said, if we can emulate
could
that
take
and
Jacoby
go the same
Brissett
thing,
to an AFC championship game. Does that make sense to you? If
What?
Shanahan were your coach, he would take you to an AFC championship with your fucking roster as it is right now. Shanahan would have the Browns at an AFC championship game.
It's possible.
You understand that?
And Nick, and let's be real here.
Brissett.
And Nick, let's be real here. We were setting up to probably go 10-7, even with Jimmy. The difference is us bringing in Christian McCaffrey. He's changed that offense. Let's be real here.
I honestly don't think it's changed that much.
Oh, you out your mind.
I honestly
He opens things up,
because
brother.
Nick doesn't understand what game planning is.
Debo,
we haven't lost a game since McCaffrey has been there because he's opening things up a lot more. And like JV said, I'm gonna give Jimmy his props. He's playing better. I don't go with the notion of he's balling out. To me, that word, that phrase, balling out, has no kind of meaning to it no more, because somebody can go 220 yards and 1 touchdown. Oh, he balled today. That's an average day for a quarterback. So hold on for a minute. So
Jacoby
Brissett
puts up 220 yards,
220 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns sometimes. Yeah. So
what the fuck?
So the balling out thing to me is comedy.
This year.
So to me, the balling out phrase is comedy to me. He's doing his job. He's finally being the game manager that we wanted him to be for the last 5 years. He's not turning the ball over. He's not turning the ball. He's better than the game manager.
I think he's always been the game manager.
No, I know, but no, he hasn't. He hasn't. The man is 10 and the 49ers are 10-2 without him throwing a touchdown pass in his career.
You guys started
saying something.
You guys started winning. You guys started winning before you got McCaffrey.
No, we weren't. We were under 5. No, we weren't, bro. We were like 3rd in the division. We were like 3-4 before we got Christian McCaffrey.
But you guys started winning before you got Christian McCaffrey.
But we were inconsistent. It was inconsistent.
Like
we lost to
Denver.
Denver.
Started before you got Christian McCaffrey.
No, it didn't. No, it did not.
And you guys lost games because you guys had a shit ton of injuries.
We've lost 4 injuries. We've lost 4. We won 4 in a row. And that's happened since we've gotten McCaffrey.
No,
he's open. But here's the thing, though, Nick, and Tony. Let me see if you agree to this. I understand, he other than that Rams game, he didn't blow the doors off. But getting a caliber player, Christian McCaffrey, opens things up for everybody else because you got to account for the man. So he's opening things up.
He doesn't realize that.
With the throws now are easier for Jimmy because it's like who do we guard? Do we get Christian McCaffrey? Do we get Debo? Do we get Ayuk? Do we get Kittle? Do we get Kyle Juszczyk? We have so many weapons. So that for you to sit there and say that Christian McCaffrey is not making a difference on this team offensively, you out your mind, brother.
I didn't say he's not making a difference. I'm saying the
difference.
You
did.
Yes, you did.
You just said.
You just said.
No. That's what I didn't say.
That's what you said, brother. You said,
I
don't think he's making much of a difference.
Will you cut some fucking breathing holes in your jersey?
What I did say is
what the fuck?
The difference that he's making is vastly overrated.
Goodbye, motherfucker!
All right, I need to regroup.
Tony, did you hear him say that Christian McCaffrey is not making much of a difference?
I don't listen.
The moment that you said,
I'll be honest, I don't listen.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Listen to him when he talks.
I said, since we got Christian McCaffrey, we've won 4 straight games. I don't think he's making that much of a difference. You out your mind. You bring in a caliber of Christian McCaffrey, a healthy Christian McCaffrey. He's going to change a defensive game plan, all that stuff, because you have to account for that, man. You're not going to let him go open. So you having to account for Christian McCaffrey, whether it's in the backfield, in the slot, you have to account for him. Opens things up for the Kittle. You notice that Kittle's games have been better since we got McCaffrey. You notice that,
yes,
JB?
I was just gonna. That was my point.
So come on, what is Nick talking about?
I was just gonna say, We are getting Kittle more involved in the offense now because we are just overwhelming coordinators with weapons, dude. I mean, I'm sorry. We're just overwhelming coordinators with
you said it right.
Players.
Yeah, with weapons.
You said it right.
Weapons.
Kittle was always a weapon. Debo was always a weapon. Ayuk was always a weapon. But the addition of Christian McCaffrey made defensive coordinators they just don't know who to account for. They just the fact of the matter is that you can only account for a few before somebody's always open. One of these weapons is always going to be open.
What is Jimmy's go-to pass? Something short, right?
Like
dump
a
off,
slant, like a
anything,
like a, screen,
anything within
whatever.
10 feet, anything
Correct,
within
like
10
yards.
within 10 yards.
Correct.
Who in football has maybe the history of football has ever been better at wide receiver, running back position, catching balls out of the backfield within like 10 yards? Has there ever been a better receiving running back in the league than Christian McCaffrey?
I would say Marshall Faulk.
For the record, I was quoted.
How about
saying
active? Active.
Active. Oh, I thought you meant just in general. Because I would say Faulk was good, LaDainian Tomlinson was good, but active, it's Christian McCaffrey as number one when he's healthy, and I think a close second, maybe Alvin Kamara out of the backfield.
Eckler, maybe.
Ricky Waters.
For the record, I was accused of saying he had zero impact. I never said he had zero impact. I said his impact was vastly overrated. You were correct when I said he does. I said he doesn't have.
Goodbye, motherfucker.
I think So to me, Tony, the best active running backs who catch the ball, I'll give you three of them. It's Christian McCaffrey to me, Alvin Kamara, and probably Austin Eckler. Those three are great out of the backfield. You can line them up in the slot, stuff like that. They create a bunch of mismatches. Now, let me ask you this, because you're a Bills fan, and Bills were in talks supposed to getting Christian McCaffrey, and the Bills' offense is already amazing. You don't think that you guys got Christian McCaffrey, it would open things up for your Isaiah McKenzie, Dawson Knox, or whatever the case may be? Like, they would have been even more open than what they are now. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just don't know what Nick is talking about. His football knowledge to me is questionable after these comments.
I'll tell you what. I'll be the first to tell you. I did not think I didn't want my team going after a Christian McCaffrey and giving up the farm to get him, because I was scared of injuries. I was scared that he really didn't show anything over the last 2 years, except for being injury prone. I was scared for them to go get him and give up the farm for him.
Give up that much capital for sure.
Seeing what I see now, I can't believe I was even thinking that. I like seeing what he has done for your offense and what he could have done for our offense. It looks like the same exact the same thing would have happened that's happening to you guys right now. So I got egg on my face. I'll admit when I'm fucking wrong. I wish we fucking got that guy. I wish we got him. So
yeah.
Well, Nick's not ready.
Go ahead, Nick. Yet. Okay, you ready to come back? Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, you look at the stats. The stats, like you figure this last game, he averaged under 3 yards a carry. He didn't really do his thing. However, there was a lot of stuff that he opened up. A lot of weapons were open that Jimmy missed. Stuff like that. And if you look at it on that wheel route, JV, Christian McCaffrey was wide open on that wheel route, and Jimmy missed him. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff that goes on that behind the scenes like that you don't see. Like, yeah, I understand you look at the stats, maybe not, but man, you should see how many people are now open, and Jimmy's playing so much better with him on the team now. He's not turning. It's been 5 games without a turnover. There's been some turnover-worthy balls that were dropped or like a penalty, negated it or whatever the case may be, but it is what it is. He still has gone 5 straight games without that interception. Like JV said, let's give some props to Brian Greasy as well, because Brian Greasy seems like he's making Jimmy play with more confidence. Like you don't see him.
I believe that.
You don't see him tap dancing like he used to be. You said he's the same guy. He's not. He's playing a little bit different. He's playing with more confidence, stuff like that. And I don't know, man. I don't know how many 49ers games you actually watch, but like Tony just said, you watch every single 49ers game.
Every single one.
Okay, and like Tony said, he wishes he got the guy. Because just imagine the Bills with the top 3 quarterback in the league with the Christian McCaffrey, a Stephon Diggs, and who's your number 2 guy who always goes deep for you guys, Tony? Gabriel Davis. Gabriel Davis. Yeah. Gabriel Davis. Like, just imagine that offense of Christian McCaffrey, like a Dawson Knox being wide open. It's just like you said, like me and JB said, everybody was getting pissed because George Kittle wasn't being used correctly or wasn't getting used at all. Now you see him being involved because you can't account for everybody on that field, man. You can't. We have too many weapons.
Like I said, I don't disagree that he made some difference, but I think you could have got that guy. I think you could have got that difference in a guy who's a little lesser of a name than McCaffrey. I think I don't think McCaffrey's a scrub. I think he's a good player.
You don't know his stats.
I don't think I do know his stats.
So let me ask you this, Nick.
They're just fucking historic.
Let me ask you
this.
You know
what that means?
Exactly what Kenneth Goldschmidt said right there is exactly why he has those stats. Because he was a small guy carrying the bulk of the offense in Carolina. Everything ran through him because they had no one else.
And they still couldn't stop him.
Okay. So why are you acting like he's all we got?
It didn't amount to any success. It amounted to stats for McCaffrey, but it didn't amount to success.
It got him on a contending roster.
You know how many games I watched where they were down by 21, 24 points?
Let me ask you this, Nick.
Kept tossing them screens.
Nick, I have one question for you. You said that we could have got the same productivity or whatever.
We could have got that from
No, we already tried that. We already tried that, brother. That didn't work. But let me ask you this.
I would not have wanted to trade you this.
Let me ask you this.
Wanted to trade you this.
Kareem Hunt ain't doing that.
Is a 10 times better fit.
Kareem Hunt going to throw touchdowns?
Let me ask you this, Nick. When healthy at the age of 26, Christian McCaffrey, healthy, still pretty young, is he a top 5 back in the league?
No.
What?
No.
When he's healthy, Christian McCaffrey healthy is not top 5 in the league.
No, he's not a top 5 back in the league.
Yes, I think he is.
No, he's not. Not even close. He's not.
Why wouldn't he be? Why
wouldn't he be?
First of all, he's a specialty back. He's a specialty back. He's a very good specialty back, but he's a specialty back. He would fit perfect on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, let me ask you in a different way. Take the running back out of it. A healthy Christian running back out of it. Okay, that's what I'm saying. If you don't say he's a running back top 5, okay, cool, I'll give you that. As a healthy Christian McCaffrey, is he a top 5 weapon in this league offensively?
No.
What?
He's not.
I mean,
okay.
Dude, he doesn't.
This
guy is just
Christian
doing
McCaffrey
this.
Is not.
You said Christian McCaffrey. A couple years ago,
we're using CMC more than we're using Debo as a weapon. So
yeah,
clearly
a healthy CMC is not a top 5 weapon. What?
I don't. I think Christian McCaffrey is very overrated. I'm not saying he's a scrub, but he's just so highly thought of that he doesn't deserve that praise.
How many yards does he have receiving and how many yards does he have rushing? He's the only record holder for doing it.
Hey, Nick, let me ask you this. Take out the position. Say this is positionless football. Who in the NFL, is top 5 weapon over Christian McCaffrey? You said Debo. Who else? Who's a better weapon? I'm talking about using out of the backfield as a slot receiver, quarterback when he needs to throw. Who's better offensively overall than Christian McCaffrey? I want 5 people better than him as a top 5 weapon. That's crazy to me. You don't think he's top 5 when
Kareem Hunt, Tony Pollard.
They're not slot. You don't put Kareem Hunt or Gainwell in the slot. They're not.
They
quit saying dumb shit.
He didn't say Gainwell. He said
he told me Gainwell last episode. He's like, you could have had Gainwell.
Got a guy like Gainwell, and he would have done just
what?
He would have made just as much of a difference.
You said Kareem Hunt's a better weapon offensively than Christian McCaffrey when he's healthy? Oh my God.
When has
absolutely. He said absolutely.
Meanwhile,
hold on.
He's high.
When has Christian McCaffrey ever led the league in rushing? Kareem Hunt has done that.
But Kareem Hunt did it as a running back. We're talking about a fucking weapon. You say there's 5 weapons better. Who the fuck are they?
Kareem Hunt catches the ball very well.
He's not. You can't put Kareem Hunt in the slot.
Also very well.
I've never seen Kareem Hunt in my life throw a touchdown pass. I've never seen Kareem Hunt do an acrobatic catch in the end zone. Sorry, dude. Like,
it's a gimmick.
It's not. I don't care. It's a weapon. It's a weapon.
Might have one more of those this year.
It's good. I hope he does it 5 times.
He's not going to.
I hope he does it 10 times.
Derrick Henry threw a touchdown pass the other day. He's sucking his nuts.
Kareem Hunt is so fucking great. He's a fucking unicorn. But you got him fucking hanging out of fucking Chubb's ass, fucking holding his fucking dick. So do me a favor. Shut up, dude.
Let me give you these stats, Nick. Let me give you these stats.
It's criminal how they're
for his career. Rushing yards for Christian McCaffrey, 4,112 rushing yards and 33 touchdowns.
Okay.
Receiving yards, 3,371 and 19 touchdowns.
Okay.
That's a weapon.
Stats are better.
Okay. So what the fuck does that even? What are you saying?
First of all,
stats are what puts you. Stats are what rank you, motherfucker.
No, they aren't what rank you. First of all, you're the guy who said a couple weeks ago, stats aren't everything.
No, I said quarterback stats aren't everything.
That makes no fucking sense.
Why? You put Jimmy on a fucking pedestal.
Stats don't.
You put Jimmy on a pedestal.
Fucking running back. All stats matter the same.
Give your top 5,
well then,
Nick.
you know
Nick,
what?
Everyone wants
Everyone's
to hear your
asking
top 5.
Top 5 weapons above CMC. Who are they?
I gotta think about it, but I just gave you 3.
You said Kareem
I
Hunt.
gotta think of 3 fucking. I gotta think of 5 fucking random names.
Kareem
Tony
Hunt,
Pollard is not as versatile. No.
Yes, he is. He's just as versatile, if not more versatile.
Then why the fuck doesn't he have those numbers? Who has those numbers? Who?
Came in like a wrecking ball.
Who?
Pollard's been tearing the league up the last couple of weeks.
Oh, tearing it up. I'm fucking wet. Good. Keep going.
Yeah.
Who? Who is putting up those numbers, both rushing and receiving? Who?
I came in like a wrecking ball.
Is not a player in the NFL.
And let me tell you this, Nick.
Tyreek Hill is a better weapon.
Tyreek Hill is a wide receiver.
I'll give you that one.
Okay, but he's a weapon.
Tyreek Hill, but who else? Okay, Tyreek Hill. Okay, I'll give you that one. Who else? Crickets. Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, there's a season for Christian McCaffrey.
You're giving me a very like it's a very narrow.
How's it narrow?
Group of people. Because
let me tell you this
Chubb's
stat.
a better weapon. Nick Chubb's a better weapon than Christian McCaffrey.
No, he might be a better running back at this point in his career, but he's not a better weapon.
You're giving me a very narrow group of people.
I named it. I said out of the backfield, lining up in the slot, just a weapon, period. Somebody that can be used everywhere.
It's basically people that run and catch the ball.
Let me give you this stat. Let me give you this stat.
Do it at a pretty good thing.
Yeah, it's football.
2 years ago.
What do you want him to kick it?
Tell you this. 2 years ago, let me tell you these stats. And you said Kareem Hunt. You said Kareem Hunt, which is laughable. There's a stat.
Not laughable.
Let me tell you this stat. Let me tell you this stat for Christian McCaffrey. He had a year where he played all 16 games. He had 1,300 yards rushing with 15 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. Then he had 1,000 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Name one of those guys who can do that.
What did any player on his team do?
What does that got to do with anything?
Because
just answer him straight.
They were shit that year, and all they did was pepper McCaffrey. That's all they did.
And they knew he was okay. So Debo last year, same thing. Everybody knew he was getting the ball.
Okay.
Couldn't stop him. Right? Couldn't stop him. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? Right or wrong?
Right. What was the team's success?
But we're not talking.
Championship.
What I was saying.
Championship. What was the Carolina Panthers' success that year? Christian McCaffrey had that crazy year.
They went to the play. They went to the playoffs.
I don't think they went to the playoffs that year. I think they were horrible, actually.
So again, name somebody who's putting up those stats. Who cares? Okay, so you're going to discount a player's accomplishments because a team was terrible? That's ridiculous.
Okay, it's a fine accomplishment, but that doesn't mean you're all of a sudden amazing. Okay.
Okay.
When Kareem Hunt led the league in rushing, Kansas City was fucking good.
Is Justin Herbert a good quarterback?
Yeah, I think he's a little overrated.
What? Okay. Anyway, is he top 5 in your opinion?
No.
Okay. So he's a good quarterback. His team is not the best. Is that his fault?
His team is kind of good, actually.
No, they're not.
Why aren't they?
I don't think they're that good.
What about that team isn't good? Is their running back not good?
All right. Well, to be fair, they're not fully healthy.
Not good.
To be fair, they're not fully healthy.
Did they not just have a ton of signings on their defensive side?
I don't know, but they just got beat by us.
They're banged. They may be the most banged up.
Arizona.
Okay, but this has been going on for 3 years with Herbert. Okay, yeah, when he came out as a rookie, we were enamored with his talent, but it's never ever materialized.
But see, I don't think you can take away a person's career year because a team was terrible. That's not fair.
Listen, he's young. I'm just not willing to put him in the top 5.
Okay, and that's fine. I'm just all I'm saying is you're talking about, oh yeah, he had a great year with 1,300 yards rushing, 1,000 receiving, but his team was terrible. So take away his accolades. It's basically what you're saying. Those mean nothing. Teams knew he was getting the ball. You said it. He was the focal point, and they still couldn't stop him.
It's at the
he still put up ridiculous yards.
That's a weapon.
They really care about stopping them. They were losing.
There's only a couple. There's only a couple guys in the league that are comparable to CMC, and I think we already said them: Kamara, Eckler.
Kamara, there's your 5th guy.
Kamara's.
Kamara, Eckler.
None of those weapons that are just better than.
I would just say
Dalvin. I think you can put Dalvin Cook in there.
Man, I don't even know if
I see him more as I see him.
I mean, you can put him in there before you're going to put. I put him in there over fucking Hunt.
I'd put maybe Aaron Jones in the conversation.
Aaron Jones is good.
but still, we're just naming 5 guys. We're not ranking the 5. If we're ranking them,
they're fucking running backs. What are you fucking talking about,
Tony? But you look at it. Give Aaron Rodgers a Christian McCaffrey. You know what I'm saying?
I think
he's a top 5 weapon, right? Wouldn't you say so?
I think
Aaron Jones though.
You know what? I don't know if he's top 5 this, top 5 that. I know one thing for sure. He's fitting on that fucking team like a glove. And that offense is clicking on all fucking cylinders. And watching them, I'm actually jealous. I never thought I would fucking say this. I'm jealous of what the 49ers have on offense. And that's coming from a Bills fan. I already know what you guys have on defense. And in watching your offense now, it's not the same as last year, the last 2-3 years. It's not boring. It's not boring as fuck to watch anymore. It's actually fun to watch them on Sundays. It's fun to watch them on offense, not just defense, sacking the quarterback, getting fumbles, touchdowns on defense, blocking punts in the fucking to go to the NFC Championship game against Green Bay. They don't have to fucking rely on that anymore. Now they have weapons and a fun offense to watch. And that's what it's all about. It's about entertaining the fans and winning games. And they're doing both right now. So hats off to those fucking guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Imagine when Trey gets a hold of this offense and he starts pulling it. It's like,
you know what?
Is that gonna be next year? Or is it gonna be in 2024?
Jimmy ain't coming.
Rodgers waited 4 years.
You know what?
That's what I told John last week. I said Rodgers waited 4 years to start.
But I don't see Jimmy back here. I don't
think we can afford him.
I see somebody like Brady or Rodgers coming here for a discount just to make a run.
Yeah, I don't see Jimmy.
1 year, back. Let's go try to make a run.
Like I said earlier, Nick, the only way I think Jimmy comes back per se is if he plays excellent in the playoffs. Because you can talk about his regular season wins all you want, but in playoff time he craps the bed. And let's keep it a buck here. He craps the bed. Four touchdowns, 6 interceptions in 7 games, and the game he didn't throw a pick is because he handed it off 8. He threw the ball 8 times. So to say that he took us to
it's fair.
So to sit there and say he took us to a Super Bowl, he contributed. I'm not taking that from him. He didn't take us anywhere. He contributed because the defense was stellar. Like right now, our defense is amazing right now, and we're winning games. If it wasn't for our defense, we might have lost this Saints game if we're keeping it real. You know what I mean? The offense looked lackluster.
I'm going to end it on this. Like I said, for some reason, the dude just keeps winning. And I feel like from what I've been listening to, and I listen to a lot of your guys' stuff, from what I've been listening to, there's not necessarily like this 49ers group, but I listen to other people too. I feel like there's a slight sea change in the Jimmy versus Jimmy hate type talk. And I feel like
remember this.
Fans
remember this. Let me tell you something right now.
Jimmy,
Let me tell you something right now. First and foremost, they're doing it to steer a fucking narrative to benefit their fucking program. All right. Number one, on this fucking channel, on the Faithfully podcast, we keep it fucking a buck. All right. We don't fucking wish wash. We're not doing it for clicks and subs. You understand this? Mm-hmm. We say what we fucking mean, period. I'm not going to go backpedal and say that I'm going to fucking stroke him. No. I give him his fucking credit because it's fucking due. I will give him his credit because it's due. He is playing well. He is managing the Shanahan offense the way it was supposed to be done. But don't say that Jimmy just wins. The team wins. Jimmy is a part of that win. The team wins. Don't give me that Montana fucking young Garoppolo.
I mean, Zach Wilson has a winning record this season. Yes. Does that mean that he wins? Come on, bro. Like, here's the thing. And Tony, I know you want to move on, brother. And this is all I say. When people sit there and say that Jimmy hate, I think that's kind of laughable because every time I hear people, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some Jimmy haters, but when we sit here and we talk football and we start bringing out stats and all this other stuff, people love to throw out the hate word. Constructive criticism and fair criticism is not hate. If I come out here and say he's not good in the playoffs because in 7 playoff games he's thrown 4 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, that's not hate. I'm giving you facts. He's not good come playoff time.
I have a fear.
Yeah.
I have a fear. Jimmy got that knee banged up, that other knee, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want to see scared Jimmy kneecaps out there. I don't want to see that because now I'm afraid that scared Jimmy kneecap takes one more of that knee. It might be the end of that fucking.
Stop calling
that dude. Why? We saw a man that was scared. We saw Jimmy's been mobile this season. He's been moving. Why? I am afraid that Jimmy is going to regress into scared Jimmy kneecaps, bro. He hasn't worn a brace all fucking season. I feel like he put that banged up knee in the back of his mind, right, TL?
Yeah.
Hasn't Jimmy played differently since that whole fucking ACL knee brace, all that bullshit?
Yes, he has.
He just got that knee twisted up in the backfield versus the Saints. All right. I don't know in what condition his knee is in. I fear that knee is a little bit compromised. It may have a slight sprain. Could be a bone bruise. Could be nothing. Because Jim's kind of tough. I'll give him that. Like, he's kind of tough. He took a lot of fucking hits versus the Saints.
You know what? I'd like to say something. I feel like this Jimmy that we're watching this year is playing free. Like, he's playing like he doesn't have some young kid that they just traded 6 draft picks for breathing down his fucking neck. I feel like he's playing knowing that he's probably not going to be back there next year, so he needs a new fucking contract next year. Nobody fucking wanted him last year. He's betting on himself out there. playing with a chip on his shoulder. It's
Yep.
everything. All the stars are aligning for his situation he's in right now.
Totally agree.
And he's making the most of it. I will give him credit where credit is due. He looks better than he looked last year. For whatever that means.
Isn't that kind of a microcosm of his entire career? Things just
mean?
kind of fall in place.
Not like this.
Nick,
I mean, it's like I feel like contract year Jimmy plays different. In 2017, when we got him, on Halloween, we traded for him, whatever the case may be, and he played those 5 games. He did his thing. Like, he went 5. The team went 5-0. He got that max deal. Then he tore his ACL in 2018. And I feel like, in 2019 when he came back, he played serviceable. You know what I mean? Like, I was one of those people who were giving him the credit, and people were talking about moving on from him then, even in our Super Bowl run. Oh, Jimmy's not it. Jimmy's that. So this is what I'll say about this. 2017, a lot of the fan base was on Jimmy. Like, man, I'm glad we finally got our quarterback. It's been so long. We haven't had a good quarterback since Jeff Garcia, blah, blah, blah. We get him. 2017, everybody was on board. But I feel like as time has went on, people have seen the deficiency. They feel like he's carried by a great defense and a run game. I mean, the fact that we're 10-2 without him throwing a touchdown pass just shows it's a team effort. He's playing exactly how we need him to play. He's not gonna be Josh Allen and give you 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's not his game. However, the thing that I think, and then people say, oh, you guys are haters. You want to move on from here as a haters. If we're haters, and so is John Lynch, and so is Kyle Shanahan, because they're seeing something in the building where they think they need to move on from him because he can't execute plays that Kyle feels is needed for his playbook to move forward. Matt Ryan was never considered the best quarterback in the NFL ever. Yet he led the NFL in scoring offense and won an MVP because he can make every throw. That's just not Jimmy's game. Come playoff time, you need to be able to sling that thing. We come up in a Super Bowl against the Bills, Chiefs, something like that. We need a quarterback if we were to go down 2 scores to carry this team, and Jimmy's just not that guy. And that's not hate.
Right.
That's just not hate. That's just a
You need
fact.
a 2-hour football game for Jimmy to get you back in the game.
But did they?
You need to be playing.
Huh?
But did they really want to move on from him?
Yes. They called the Lions and asked about Matthew Stafford. But Sean McVay offered more and he got him. They called about Aaron Rodgers. There was talks about trading for Deshaun Watson before he started screwing up. So yes, they wanted to move on from that man.
I will agree with you. When prior to drafting Trey Lance and the season that followed, I think they did want to move on from him.
And what's the reason? Take a look at all. If Kyle wanted a game manager, why didn't he go after? I'm just putting names out there. A Marcus Mariota who can use his legs. Why didn't he go after Andy Dalton? I'm just putting names out there. I'm not saying they're as good or whatever. I think
they considered Dalton.
Why did they go after a Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, and Deshaun Watson? What do all them 3 have in common?
They're among the better quarterbacks in the league.
And can do what? Make every throw, right?
I mean, if you're among the better quarterbacks in the league, then you're going to be able to make every throw.
That's not necessarily true because Drew Brees couldn't make every throw. He couldn't really.
You know what, TL?
He couldn't throw
TL?
What's that?
He made every throw I've seen him make.
Well, I'm just saying, like, everybody questioned his arm strength. All I'm saying is this. There was a pattern with Kyle Shanahan when he was looking to move off of Jimmy. He couldn't get the guys he ultimately wanted. Yeah, people say, well, Trey was his plan D. He probably was. Because obviously he was, because he went after Stafford, Rodgers. He went after, like I said, he wanted to go after Deshaun Watson until his allegations. So he was looking to move on from Jimmy. So there's something that Kyle sees inside on that practice field that Jimmy just doesn't do for him offensively. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but he's like a drug. He's like a drug to Kyle, though. Kyle keeps coming back. Needs to take one more hit.
Seriously, how did you get that jersey on?
The jersey's not that tight.
We're wearing a large. It's just small, medium, large combined.
It's a little tight around my arms. That's it.
But the hole, the neck hole looks so small. Your head is monstrous.
You know something, TL, and this goes to the whole chat too. I don't mistake. This is completely hypothetical. If you took Jimmy out of San Francisco and he was somewhere else in the league today, as we speak right now, you know, I kind of wish that for this conversation's sake and the comparisons and all the anti-Jimmy and pro-Jimmy and everybody in between, without Shanahan, Matt Ryan has not been Matt Ryan. Okay. I want to know who Jimmy would be today without Shanahan's offense, without the tailor-made offense to his deficiencies. I would like to know where Jimmy would be today, what his record would be as a quarterback. Would he have been benched? Would he have succeeded? Where would he be right now? Would his team be on the verge of 10 wins, 9 wins, 8 wins? Just want to know.
I mean,
just want to know, like, who's Jimmy as not being a 49er?
I might be wrong about this, but the first year when Jimmy got traded, that was under Tom Sula, right?
No.
Tom Sula, no.
Who was
Shanahan? John Lynch.
Shanahan coached that team?
Yeah.
Yes.
2017. Yeah. Him and John Lynch traded for him in 2017. Harbaugh and Tom Sula, all of them were gone already. That was Shanahan's first year.
Okay.
We were 1-10 or something like that, and they said, "You know what? Let's trade."
I think you guys didn't win a game until Jimmy came.
No, that's not true. We had won a game with Brian Hoyer. And that's what's funny to me, Tony. People say, well, without Jimmy, you guys don't win. Well, we had Nick Mullen, CJ Beathard, and Brian Hoyer. Like, you're comparing.
Won a lot of games for the Browns.
Come on, man.
Decent amount.
TL, you can. People are saying these things because they're facts.
No, they are, but
they're not. They're not.
It's not like they said, "Oh man." It's not like he was benched first. It's not like he was like we had Kaepernick still or whatever, and he got benched, and then we put Jimmy in and we started winning games. They're comparing them to career backups, to people who will never probably start again in this league. So that's why it's laughable when they say, well, it's facts. Guarantee it's facts. But look who you were comparing him to. That's like comparing him to us four on this panel. Like, we're not going to go out there and win games, but Jimmy is a starting level quarterback. So
what though?
He has won games.
That the team that they're putting around him, the weapons that they're putting around him, that cater to his strengths. Game, his strengths, they're doing this all right.
They are,
and they're going to make this. They're going to polish this turd into a pretty good looking quarterback, and he has done.
I don't know that he's even a turd. I was very hard on Jimmy last season. TL, I was very hard on Jimmy this. Okay.
Oh shit. Okay, John. Okay, John.
I was just disgusted with his body of work. I mean, we were disappointed, bro. Like, Jimmy essentially put us in a very bad position. He cost us the Titans game, forcing Trey Lance to actually win a game
against
to keep
Texans,
us in contention. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was just there was a lot of picks.
Yeah.
There was a lot of boneheaded mistakes,
And you know what, JV? Here's what I'll say, and I'm gonna get out of here pretty soon. But here's what I'll say too. And here's what I'll say too. While we had Jimmy named the starter, Kyle was getting pieces, like you say, Tony, to fit his game. The Juwan Jennings is the slant monster, slant god. I call him third and Jennings because he's money on third downs, and stuff like that. But you notice that when Trey was named a starter and they thought they were moving on from Jimmy, they started getting speedsters. Ray McLeod from the Steelers, our rookie, I can't think of his name. Danny Gray from SMU, the 4.29 guy, because Trey can throw that deep ball. And like I said, I think Kyle and like JV was saying, you put Jimmy on any other team, I don't know if he excels like this. Maybe with Andy Reid he can excel because he got the best out of Alex Smith as well. Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan, to me, are one of the best play callers in football. You know what I mean? And everybody likes to dog on Shanahan. Oh, Shanahan needs to call better plays. You look at the All-22, every play somebody's open. So that's not Kyle's fault. If there's a man open on every single play he calls, you can't blame that on Kyle. It comes down to the execution of the quarterback. So when I look at these things and I see that, Kyle has you look at this 2016 Atlanta Falcons team, and you look at what's going on now. I think collectively, which maybe you guys can agree, I think collectively, this team has better weapons than that 2016 Falcons team. Would you guys agree? They had Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, Taylor Gabriel. Then they had two good running backs in Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman.
Yeah, Tevin Coleman and Freeman, right?
Freeman. So, but then you look at now Christian McCaffrey. We can say what we want. He's a top 5 to 7 running back or weapon. George Kittle, top 3 tight end. You got Deebo Samuel. You got Ayuk. You got the best left tackle in football, Trent Williams. Best fullback, and Kyle Juszczyk, who's no slouch on the offensive end. He can catch deep balls as well. You put him in the slot, and he'll cook you too. So collectively, we have we have the roster. And you're right, Tony. They've put together a team that has catered to Jimmy. But like I said, I just think Kyle has this vision of what his offense can look like. Like I said, if Jimmy was named the starter, you never saw him draft a speech. It was always yak monsters, somebody who can get open on the 10, 15-yard slant and do the work. I mean, what was it, JV, against the who did he score 4 touchdowns? Oh, the Cardinals, when we had the 4 touchdown game in Mexico City. Jimmy had 220 yards, 161 were yak. That's crazy.
You know what that means, Nick?
That means he's getting his receivers and people catching
behind the line of scrimmage
in good position to score.
So if we look at his pass chart with these little green dots, if you take a piece of notebook paper and you draw a bold black line through the middle of it, just on top of that, just above that black line, you're going to see a bunch of fucking green dots, maybe a couple behind it, right? Screens and jet sweeps, whatever you want to call it, right? But you're going to see that these dots are all very, very, very intricately placed, and they're all right in the same vicinity.
Yeah.
It's just not going to get it. It's not going to get it done against Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. They can make up for it. Could take us 8 minutes to go downfield and score a touchdown. Okay. They're going to get the ball, and in 2 or 3 passes, they're on the goal line ready to punch it in. If it's not already a touchdown.
I've seen it got done against Aaron Rodgers.
Who?
I've seen it done.
Talking about week 3 last year. You're talking about
in the tundra.
I think he's talking
Frozen
about when we
tundra.
were down. Well, remember we were down last year, like week 3, and we were down, and Jimmy drove us 80 yards, and when Kyle Juszczyk punched in for that touchdoon.
I'm just saying.
But Tony, what happened?
It's a 2-minute drill that he executes quite well.
And what happened? Aaron Rodgers got the ball under a minute and lost because you know why?
I was actually talking about the tundra game, but
you're talking about when
Jordan Willis saved
Jimmy
us.
threw an interception. Jimmy threw an interception, and
I'm just saying I've seen Jimmy beat good quarterbacks,
but he didn't beat.
But Jordan Willis blocked a fucking.
We only scored a touchdown because of a special teams play. We won 10-3 because of a punt block by Jordan Willis, and Hufanga went in, and then Robbie Gold kicked the field goal. So what are we talking about here? You're going to give Jimmy that credit? You're going to give Jimmy that credit? He's beat good quarterbacks?
I'm not necessarily giving you Jimmy credit.
That's what you just said. You just said, I seen him beat good quarterbacks. That's what you just said.
I have seen him beat good quarterback. He beat a good quarterback that game.
Come on,
was he necessarily effective in that game? No.
Not at all.
But those were terrible conditions. He did enough to beat the other quarterback.
He didn't do anything.
The other quarterback didn't do much either. Aaron Rodgers didn't do much that game either. It was bad conditions.
What about the NFC Championship game, 2019? Jimmy hands the ball off. How many passes? Eight throws?
He went 6 for 8 for like 40 yards.
He went
and no
6
touchdowns.
for 8.
No
touchdowns.
You guys always bring that up. He didn't have
Why?
He didn't have to. Why would you? You guys wanted him to use.
Yeah, but why would you run your running back into the ground?
You guys wanted him
when
to
you're
bring
trying to go to the Super Bowl, bro.
Well, here's my issue with that though, Nick. We were playing the Vikings the week before. We were winning. Jimmy had some boneheaded plays. He had an interception to Eric Kendricks, Then he almost threw a second pick, and then Kyle was like, you know what? Screw this. Took the ball out of his hands and said, my running game, Tevin Coleman, go win me this game. And that's what happened. The running game.
And that's exactly what we did.
And that's what we did. So against the Packers, he didn't trust them. You know what? I'm going to run it to Mostert. We got up on a 14-0 lead early, and then we just took it, and then we took care of business. All I'm saying is this, brother. No elite quarterback is going to throw a ball 8 times in an NFC or AFC championship game. Not going to happen, brother. I'm sorry.
If the team is running for like 300 yards, yes. But we really got to wrap this up. I know Tony's got to get up in the morning. I'm dead tired. I got up at like 6:30 today, so I'm sure everyone else has to do something. So
I'm ready to roll. But I'll tell you this right now: there's always context to all these things that you preach, Nick, and you need to think it through, man, because it's not always what you say it is. All right, family. Listen, Kenneth, thanks for joining us, bro. Jerry, thanks for joining us. Everybody in the chat, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for everything, man. DL, as always, brother. Always a pleasure having you, man.
Pleasure.
We'll see you soon.
Absolutely. I love talking football with you guys, man. At least 75% of us are knowledgeable when it comes to quarterback play, and I appreciate that. No, you guys have a good night. No, you guys have a good night, man. I know it's like midnight over there, so.
Yeah, it's bad. All right, we'll see you guys. Thanks.